Hello, hello. Can everybody hear us? Just to get any potential audio problems out of the way. Hi, everyone. James Chen and OlafRedland here. Obviously, we're missing Kitty, but she could not join us today. Plus, we're probably just going to be talking about, like, matchups.
Numbers, and this character's good, and the game is out. I'm really surprised by some of the characters I'm playing.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, some of the characters that I'm starting to find that I'm kind of interested in are really weird.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, like, a year ago, did you think you'd be like, I really think I'm going to play Kyo?
No. Kyo maybe just because of CVS2.
Because but there's so many other fun characters too. Like, I'm not trying to not convince you or something, but it's like even if I love Iori, I'm not playing that guy. It's just not happening.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the beta for Kyo is kind of what got me, because I realized how crazy his Rekkas were. And then I just retweeted High Fight's video of Rekka madness. And, dude, the thing about it is, Like I said, there was, we're like not even...
Just right into it.
Look, there was one clip where I saw Mai do the flame whip thing, and it hit at the tip, and it bounced away, and it was perfect. There's no way to punish it. Back to neutral, and I saw that, and I was like tear rolling down my eye, because I miss just being able to do special moves as offense, you know? Cause
just fucking do it.
That's what Super Turbo was, dude. Yeah. Super Turbo was just like Rekka. Like, what are you gonna do? You just had to hold it, you know?
I told you a long time ago, you're a KOF fan, you just don't know it yet. And finally, you have it in your hands, you're like, yeah.
Oh, man. Oh, Clark. Yeah, Clark's
a monster.
Clark is pretty dang good. I've been using Clark as well. I played him against David that one day, so the one day that we actually played a little bit earlier. But so Ertola, shout outs to you, Isaac, by the way, and Irene, of course. But like,
everyone feels kind of dumb.
Right, that's the thing, is like, I retweeted an early tier list, and it was SAB. Mm-hmm. And that's probably not even accurate. It's probably A plus AB.
Yeah, I'm not comfortable calling anyone S yet, except for maybe Ralph.
Dude, I haven't seen it yet, but that's all I read about is Ralph.
So here's the thing, is that Ralph can literally pretty much win with two things. Standing heavy kick and his ground punch explosion DP move.
Really? Is that like just super safe on block or something? Or?
And it's a real ass DP where he doesn't fucking go anywhere. And then standing heavy kick is
the one where he jumps up and dives down?
No. He just sits there and just punches the ground and explodes. That's his DP. In vol.
Okay.
Yeah. So he has a good ass anti-air.
It's kind of like Kazuki Hot Pants, you mean?
Yeah, except he doesn't go anywhere. And then standing heavy kick is like, you know how dumb Terry's was. Mm-hmm. Okay, now make it twice as fast.
Jesus.
It's gigantic, and it's super fast.
We may turn on the game in a second just so we can take a watch out Jasmine. She's actually doing a good job avoiding the paper thing. There. Yeah, so I was actually kind of impressed with that.
Hi.
She's like, it's cold in here. I want body warmth.
There's a lot of dumb characters, a lot of really good characters, and a lot of characters that are just good. Like, that's the thing, is that the whole tier list right now is dumb, really good, and good.
Right, and even, like, I'm sorry I'm going to bring this up, but, I mean, like, there's, like, no characters that are, like, considered really bad, except for maybe Ramon.
Ramon is probably the closest to, like, my first impression is literally that Ramon's the worst character in the game, and he's still clearly a B tier.
Okay, good. Okay.
He just has to struggle in ways that every other character around him that has anything similar in archetype doesn't care about.
Right.
Okay. The only thing he has going for him is, like, he's got some extra projectile invul, and he's still got, like, a strike invul throw, which is kind of nice. That's it. That's all he's got. But it's like, Clark and Shermie both have throws with immunity.
Right.
So that's not even really separating him from anything.
Right. Why would you play Ramon if you could play Shermie, kind of thing, right?
That's really my feeling about it. Because he's one of the only characters who cannot combo into his CD.
Right.
Like, even with a quick max, he can't combo into CD.
I saw DK Unit. I was about to respond to him, but I almost called him Dunk It. Like, I'm gonna dunk it. No, DK Unit.
Dunkaroos.
That's how I won with Cammy in Super Turbo, dude. No one knows the matchup tier. But, yeah, I mean, Ramon could definitely run through the beam, but, I mean, that's like...
Yeah, but the thing is also is that he's, like, running away from it, and, like, you're gonna get one hit, because then he can't super cancel any of it, and it's like...
Yeah, so what about Maxima and Whip? So Maxima doesn't feel particularly strong to me.
I disagree.
You do?
I think
okay.
I think he's
good.
I think Maxima's fine.
I'm glad.
His whole thing is, again, is he might have the problem of being outshined by other characters, especially like Antonov.
Right.
If you like Maxima, you might just want to play Antonov.
Fair, okay.
And that's it. Like that's really the biggest problem with any character that's air quotes bad or less stellar. It's that there's someone who fills their role who's better.
Felicia Wolverine.
Yeah, exactly. That kind of thing. Or,
I'll never not be bitter about that one.
Or, I mean, like I like to talk about is Vanilla Marvel. It was why play Doom when you can play Taskmaster.
Right.
And then you went to Ultimate Marvel. Is why play Taskmaster when you can play Doom.
Yep. And just like in Street Fighter V, every season, why play some variation of Karen, Cammy, Sakura, Lucia, and you can play...
When you can play the good one.
Right, yeah. Exactly. And it kept switching over and over.
Pick top tier.
Yeah. It just kept switching back and forth. Because, like, literally, Cammy and Karin were like, oh. And right now, at this point, they're like, oh. Both kind of broken.
Yeah. So, but Maxima's doing all right.
Okay,
and I feel like he's got some real room to grow. I think he's going to be one of the ones that a specialist is going to play him, like has been the case several times, and is going to ruin lives. Especially because he has more guard point than anyone else in the game. Like he just he can just throw out a hard punch and stop caring, you know.
Yeah.
But there's still the whole like Antonov exists because like I really hope Inferno Kong's happy right now because Antonov feels fucking dumb.
Yeah, I mean, power creeps is tough, but what's good about this one, it's kind of like everybody.
Yeah.
Right? So
yeah, most characters got crept, and honestly, it's also, after 14, some of these characters fucking needed it.
Yeah.
And then with the system changes that are somewhat nerfs, when you power creep even the good characters, it actually just kind of brings everyone in line.
Right, so what I was about to say is 14 was definitely more, there was S and there was C, D tiers. The F tiers? Dang, who was F tier?
Chang was down there for a while. Tung was down there for a while.
Okay.
Ramon was fringe of that for a while.
Okay.
Xanadu was down there. He finally got buffed enough to be D and C tier.
It's a good sign for game balance when Benny isn't top tier.
Yeah. When Benny isn't top tier out the gate, you're having a good time.
Right.
Yeah, and oh my god, that's definitely a character we're going to talk about.
Vanessa?
Oh my god.
Someone's been labbing Vanessa. Dude, so obviously Capcom Cup was this weekend. I'll bring that up mostly because that will tell you why I haven't been able to put as much time into the game as I wish I could have. But while I was there, I was talking to Smug. And Smug,
dude, man, okay, look, I'm gonna say it right now. I got butthurt on Twitter.
Why?
Because he's like, yo, it's a girl Dudley?
No, that's what I was talking to him about because he doesn't know anything about KOF. And so,
obviously.
And his all of his stream was like, you need to play Vanessa. He saw the picture of Vanessa and he was like, okay, I guess. And then he's like, I picked her, and he was like, oh. Oh.
Yeah, out the gate.
Oh, shout outs to Smug, by the way. Smug is the best, dude. I mean, dude, like, just talking with him, he's, oh, God, what a genuinely awesome human being.
It's just one of those, like, happy to be there.
Yeah, exactly. And he's, like, you can't tell from his streams and his stuff, but he's really very humble. And he's very, like, he's actually kind of introverted, too. Huh. You know, like, when I was talking...
So he's got, like, his, like, on the stage face and private face kind of thing.
Nice. Like, because when, you know how we all did the analyst desk? He was mad nervous about him, you know, like, he's like, I don't know. Like, we were doing a practice session, and he was like, I didn't know what to say. Like, I was, like, it was just, like, it was really cool to see that, so... But no, I mean, Kenji... What's that?
Vanessa's outfit's fine. It's a shame color 8's her only color.
Oh, There you go.
I respect that.
And that's the cool thing, Kenji, is it's not just Smug. It's everybody is enjoying this game. A lot of people are liking it. And
like literally almost everyone who plays fighting games in any capacity is having a good time.
And it's so funny, too, because like I actually wrote a tweet in response to someone else. I was like, wow, everyone who said that they would play KOF if it had good netcode, we're telling the truth. It's actually true. Because, I mean, that's the thing, is the game is fun. And again...
Fun as hell.
Again, like, I hate deep diving into this because I know a lot of people don't necessarily agree with the whole heart, body, mind crap in different fighting games. And I know you do. Because we talk about it all the time.
I don't even know how you actually disagree with it. Like, but it's a sound discussion.
This is the thing, is that old fighting games were not designed in an environment where we had the ability to look up frame data. When Street Fighter 2 came out, we barely had the internet.
Okay, when Street Fighter 2 came out, we barely had the move list.
Yeah, exactly. And so we have a situation where fighting games are developed in a way to be able to enjoy them researchless. There's no website for frame data. There's no frame data apps. There's nothing like that. And so these games are designed to be like, I'm just going to throw a Honda headbutt and most people can't stop it. You dealt with it, that kind of thing. And so many of the fighting games have moved away from that. And there's a little bit of a Tekken effect in there, because I know Ed Boon has even said that he was a big fan of Tekken, and that's what influenced a lot of MK11. I think Street Fighter V is very Tekken-like because of the concept of turns and all that stuff. But old fighting games were not like that. They would just like throw shit out.
Let's give Cammy a 3 frames fierce. Yeah, no big deal. All right.
And like, that's why I'm like enjoying this right now. That's why I talked about when High Fight tweeted like his joke was kill neutral.
Yeah.
And it was just punch, and I was like, God, I love this.
Yeah. Because I mean, the thing is that there's really one of those. Okay, first off, that is not top tier broken.
Right.
So it becomes fucking answer it.
Yeah.
You stop him. You tell him not to.
Exactly. And I just like having things be powerful again. I like being able to use Clark and use this ridiculous sweep. And if it's blocked, I live.
Mm-hmm.
These are just things that I enjoy. And, I was testing a bunch of stuff. And, like, most things are minus, but they push you at a range where it really doesn't matter.
Which brings us back to Vanessa. Because I promise you, one of the biggest reasons why Vanessa is good in this game is that she has a, like, 4 or 5 frame crouch B, which means it's a low, that hits as far as some characters sweep.
Yeah.
And it's fully confirmable. So, block Shuri. She's going to do a hurricane kick. Most characters don't get a real ass punish. And Vanessa's like, oh, full confirm, thank you. 50%.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting because this starts to make... So, for example, Tekken is very universalized. Street Fighter is very universalized. Like, Tekken is about... You have your 10 frame punish, which is just A, or just punch, right? Left punch. And then you have everything from 12 and under. Moves are designed so that this move is a 12-frame punishable move. And then the next category is like the 13, and then there's the 15-frame punisher and whatever. And there's a few exceptions here and there. Then you get to Soul Calibur, where they kind of do the same thing, except there's more exceptions. Like, I think it's Sophitia has the super fast, just like the, like 11. Yeah, basically, like she can punish things that a lot more characters can and stuff like that.
And then also Soul Calibur has the occasional, like, it's minus 15 or whatever, but it also sidesteps. You have to have a 15 frame tracking.
Or just even the fact that, like, in Soul Calibur, like, things just push so far away in that game. Like Killix 44B, where he like stabs you, it's like minus like 18 or 16 or something like that. But if you block it even at point blank range, you end up so far away.
It's one of those, I call it functionally safe.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And that's what I just feel like, KOF is doing a lot of. And I like that. I like having that kind of situation, because what that ends up is it puts the game back in neutral, which everybody wants to talk. I like neutral. Everyone's always like, neutral. Okay.
Okay, well, unless you're Ralph in those situations, then you just use your mobility.
Right. And so, neutral is overrated as a qualifier of quality of a fighting game.
Because it's too fucking vague for starters.
One, but at the same time, neutral is fun, right? That whole I'm trying to get in.
That's why I started playing zoners.
Dude, zoners,
good zoner is so fucking fun.
If people hate zoners, you just gotta try them, and then when it succeeds.
Oh, if you really hate zoners, it also means stop playing grapplers. Because that's what I did. I am so much happier. Never play a Capcom grappler ever again. Because you will get zoned and you will be miserable.
And it's funny because they have a Champion Edition machine at the studio that we shot Capcom Cup. And so all these new players are just trying to play it. And even some people who are pretty decent at the game. And someone, I think it was Jeremy or somebody, they picked Guile against my Zangief. And I was like, let's go. Because that's one of my favorite matches in those games because it's so wildly not in Zangief's favor, but I have played it so damn much. It's one of my matches of expertise. One of the very first times I met Jason Wilson, he came to UCLA. I didn't know who he was. He knew who I was. God, it's part of the funniest story. But we were playing Super Turbo and he played Guile and I played Zangief and I beat his Guile with his Zangief and he was just shocked by that. But then, after a while, I was like, oh yeah, I'm Jason Wilson. I know the FGC, blah, blah, blah. And Jason Wilson, by the way, has done a lot of good things for the FGC. He was one of the first people to put articles in Tips and Tricks magazine. He was one of the writers for that and stuff like that. And he still owns an arcade in Tennessee right now, I think, or something like that. Where he does a bunch of stuff. But funniest thing, he's like, yeah, I know you. You're James Chen. You're the guy who went to Brazil and beat everybody in X-Men versus Street Fighter.
Oh, that's funny.
I was like, what the fuck? And then the funniest thing about it was that wasn't the only time I've ever heard that. Afterwards, someone else said the same thing. And I was like, I've never been to Brazil before.
Yeah, but it was that people printed out your FAQs and you were known there. There's a difference. Right. Oh, yeah. No, Tips and Tricks was actually really good in its heyday. When I wanted to pay attention to fighting games, that was actually the magazine I looked at.
Yeah.
Because, that was actually, I think it was Tips and Tricks is the first time I heard of John Choi.
Yeah. And yeah, no, I have not actually been to Brazil yet. I have not yet. One of these days, I will. But... story aside, it's just, zoners, if you play a zoner, play them. You'll find out, one, it's way freaking harder than you think it is, and two, when it works, God, it feels good.
Yeah, no, especially because, I will say, developers have gotten a lot more competent at designing zoners nowadays. Because, old Guile, old Sagat, not STO Sagat, but Sagat back in the day.
Right.
He could just fucking chuck shit. And half the cast just couldn't even play, And now we've got I remember when I played Guile in Street Fighter V for the first time, I threw a boom and I got reaction jumped in on full combo and I was like, wait, what?
Yep.
So, it's...
Tips and Tricks magazine was actually under the Hustler brand. So it was that parent company. And so apparently their offices were right next to it. I had a different person, had a friend who used to work at Tips and Tricks. It's not a friend anymore. Let's just put it that way. But...
Unnecessary detail.
Yeah. There was one
I knew a guy.
Yeah, there was one time he was like, "Here, I'm going to bring you a bunch of free Tips and Tricks magazines," and then just handed me a bunch of Hustler magazines.
That's funny.
I was like, why?
That's funny.
Oh man, but
anyway, so neutral, and the mobility in KOF, how it changes everything, plus roll, plus hops, and everything,
and because everything pushes you into neutral, you play that a lot.
And so what I'm really hesitantly looking forward to, I really want to see Justin keep going. Because I think that a Marvel player might actually adapt to KOF's bullshit very well.
Justin is going to be able to play this game so well. I mean, when he won that KOF 2002 tournament that I always tell the story.
Yeah, just because he won on fucking fundamentals.
I was like, have you played it before? He's like, no, I just pretended it was 98. I was just like, God damn it, Justin. But yeah, you give him good running, a good DP, and just the mind games.
Mobility, evasion tools, neutral, and he doesn't have to study frame data, so he can run on instincts when he needs to.
Right, and that's
it's like what really separates like Hyper Hop from Marvel 2 Tri-Dash. Mm-hmm. Oh, more reaction time?
right.
Okay.
Right. Justin fought Layak, the best Rio player out there. I need to go watch that because remember I was trying to learn Rio and I couldn't quite get him. Yeah. So,
and I mean we're still seeing some of it too. Like Andy OCR has basically fully transitioned to an SNK player.
Oh yeah.
And he is whooping a bunch of asses.
Yeah, and again, it's because Andy OCR was a Street Fighter 4 fan, and Street Fighter 4 was more crazy like that.
Yeah, more willing to let you play on instinct, more dumb stuff, and less about. I memorized that I'm -3 here, and I can do this, and you can't. And man,
yeah, it's a.
So I want to see Justin stick with this because he's probably going to be just an absolute fucking terror.
I think a lot of people are going to stick with this because everyone I've talked to, and again, it's tough because I know that people like Smug, like Justin, like myself, even can be interpreted as influencers and stuff like that. But I can tell you, when I talk to these people, like, that's the one thing I like about the FGC. A lot of these guys are a lot more genuine than you actually think that they are. And when I talk to them...
especially now that Justin stopped playing a heel.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I think I've told you this multiple times. I don't know if I've mentioned it before. I used to hate Justin, and then I met him. And I realized that him being a douche on stage was an act.
I've told you my story, right? Yeah. When he first, so I had my room downstairs, the one that you're in, and I decided to. Oh, thank you, Mega Fiblum.
Mega MF Supremofo Iblum. I don't know.
Thank you for the subscription. But when I first opened that,
I think it's Mega and then a 6-digit acronym.
Probably.
Like motherfucker, it's Black Lives Matter.
I'll take that. I'll take that. When when I first opened up the
oh no, Justin still has shit takes. Don't get me wrong.
That's not a heel. That's So when I first opened up the room, right? So and I decided to rent it out because at first I didn't. I was trying to have it be like my own like little arcade gathering place, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna rent it out. Gutex was the one who told me, he's like, hey, Justin's trying to move out to the West Coast. You might want to talk to him.
This story. Okay.
Yeah, and I was like, Justin, I guess. Like, maybe I'll ask him because he's kind of an asshole. Like, he's a cocky little kid or whatever. And I was just like, ah. So he came out for the Active Gamers tournament. They flew him out here for that, and that was a whole fiasco. But while he was there, I drove him and his girlfriend at the time to my house to show him the room, and I showed him the room, and I was like, here's the room. And his girlfriend's just walking around. Because I was like warning them how small the room was. And his girlfriend was walking around. She's like, this place is huge.
She walked into New York studios.
Yeah, she walked into the closet and she was like, "This closet is bigger than Justin's room is right now."
I still think that's an exaggeration.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I've definitely sat there and like I could not. I'm not sure I could fit like a military cot in that closet.
Right, exactly.
But like I could, but barely.
Yeah, and then after Justin moved in, my God, he is like the most respectful, introverted, like super kind.
It was only like the second or third time I met him was over here because I was like hanging out with everyone because it was like Marvel 3. And like he was just like the nicest guy. I was happy to be there, happy everyone was there playing games. Like you could not have found a problem.
Right, and like, oh man, I remember talking to him. I was like, God, you're like so loud and cocky with Marvel and everything. And he just literally told me, he's like, it's New York Marvel. He's like, if you're not like that, you will get eaten alive. It's like, you have to be. And I was like, makes sense.
What are you standing up for?
Yeah, basically. But yeah, dude, I mean, so far everyone's playing this game. And like I said, the genuine joy that I am hearing from people like Smug and, when I talk to them and everything, it seems like there is, so again, fighting games obviously cater our scene right now. It's changing because of games like Street Fighter V, but the previous generation was self-selected for these games that are more heart-based and less analytical like this, right? Less frame data intensive. So a lot of the old school people who do love fighting games remember video games, fighting games of that nature. And KOF feels that way. And so there's something about the game that definitely brings out a lot of that old school joy.
I mean, you probably everyone in the chat has been around long enough to know how many people quit with Street Fighter V. That they were just so unhappy with it that they bailed.
Right.
And it's pretty much that feeling right there. Is that I don't want to have to study for a fucking final term paper to learn how to play a character.
Yeah, it's interesting. So Chrissy Rocks has a very interesting question. This is probably something to talk about too. Is which of the platforms is having the most players? I think on PC on average is around 4.55K. I'm kind of worried right now because outside, the Street Fighter community, and actually Strive has kind of gotten a little. Strive is a little, but Street Fighter community is really good about playing on ranked. And so people searching for ranked matches tend to find matches very, very quickly. The anime community has had a history of being very bad about ranked because the netcode was bad. You just didn't want to deal with that.
Yeah.
So everybody was in lobbies all the time. I've read something from a Japanese player that Fubar Duck translated that Japanese players are not playing on ranked because they're getting freaked out that people are content vulturing their matches. That they're streaming it from the other side or whatever like that, and they don't want people to study them, or they're just wait a second, this doesn't feel right that you're streaming my matches, and it's really interesting.
Oh yeah, pro tip: Ramon Sobot's an overhead, by the way.
Okay. But no, it's interesting.
So there's a major note there we need to talk about.
But definitely I feel that there is a danger that there's not going to be as many people playing on ranked, and we may run into that kind of problem. Well, hopefully we can fix that.
Some people have already reached the top rank. Right. They're all legit champions.
Right.
So PC has a large player base right now. PS4 probably also has a very similar player base. I don't have any of the hard numbers. However, while the PC version does run the smoothest, it actually has the most problems in matchmaking.
Okay.
So that's an issue too. If you're struggling to find matches in ranked on PC, it might actually also be because the PC has a little bit of issue with matchmaking.
Right.
While the PS4 version, for instance, it has the extra 2 or 3 frames of input delay, but the matchmaking and lobbies are way smoother.
Yeah. Okay.
So it is what it is.
Okay. How do we feel about the in-game tutorial?
I still haven't fucking done it.
All fighting game in-game tutorials are garbage. Again, that's just my opinion.
Okay, I don't always agree because how long did it take us to figure out tap jump in Samurai Showdown without the tutorial?
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Here's the thing: is that
but he says I think the community has done a much better job teaching me the intricacies, basically the combo structure. So I thank you guys for that. So you're welcome. Cool.
Oh, I'm not taking any credit for it. That's probably the rest of the community too.
Yeah, for sure.
However, I do have friends who have gone through the tutorial because it's their first KOF, and it did give them at least the basics.
Right.
It told them that these short jumps exist and stuff like that, or this is how rolls exist. You're still vulnerable to being thrown when you roll, stuff like that. That's stuff that you should have on the very ground level.
Right.
But most of these tutorials are built for I've never played KOF and barely play fighting games.
Right, exactly.
So I go from nothing to crawl. But nothing teaches good people how to go from crawl to walk or walk to run.
Right, and
that's the core problem.
That's the exact answer I was going to give to Razalicious about VF4. Is that VF4's tutorial is amazing. The hardest thing about all fighting game tutorials is it's all there. And so as you progress through the game, a lot of people just go to the first tutorial and sit through the whole tutorial. And then by the time you get to the point where VF is teaching you, do this unsafe move that can only be punished by block, the computer's going to randomly throw you with one of the 3 directions, input all 3 option selects into the throw to avoid, and do this, 5 out of 7 times. Go!
And BlazBlue does the same thing.
Yeah, by the time you get to that point, you shouldn't be there. Tutorials should unlock based off of your rank. You know what I mean? You go online, you're bronze. You should only have access to a tiny bit of tutorials. Again, it's not the greatest way to do it, but...
Okay, so I'm gonna give you the partial agree.
Right.
The partial agree. I think doing, like, time release tutorial in some capacity might be good, because it goes from, okay, now you can crawl. Go fuck off for a while.
Right.
And then come back when you're ready to learn more. We'll provide you more. But, yeah, the big problem is that everyone wants to sit through the whole thing in one chunk, and the fact is that humans don't work that way.
Right,
We will not absorb everything if we do it in that one chunk.
Right. And, like, I still want games because, I mean, I was even told, like, Street Fighter 4... You know how Smash Brothers, after you win, there's, like, distance traveled, how many times you did that stuff.
The Switzerland trophy.
Yeah. Someone told me who works in the the fighting games, developing, says that, like, a lot of games already do that. It's just that information is never put anywhere. So
that sounds right.
There's just no, we don't get that data showing up anywhere. We need stuff like the game is just like, I noticed you blocked 7 jump-ins and never anti-aired. Here's your anti-air tutorial.
So one thing I will give to KOF in a bizarre manner that I think actually is cohesive with this idea. There was no way I was going to phrase it, whatever. Have you tried ranked mode yet?
I have not yet.
That puts you in a series of AI battles.
Oh, right,
to try to gauge what your skill level is.
Yeah. Some of
and
the
then maybe
that,
so maybe unlocking the tutorial based on that performance would be actually pretty cool.
Guilty Gear does that as well, and I think Granblue did that as well.
Guilty Gear?
Yeah.
I don't fucking remember.
Yeah, Guilty Gear made you play a bunch of computer first, so...
Doesn't it?
So one of the reasons... So another thing, on top of all this discussion, I also have to...
He's speaking for you.
Yeah, I have to... He already knows that... Text tutorials and that kind of stuff, which is called a tutorial, by nature, I think makes them bad tutorials. The tutorials like Break the Targets, like the Home Run Contest, to me, are still the best tutorials in all of fighting games.
You know what would be good then is to have, like, to replace that type of tutorial, like, okay, so we have a Break the Targets tutorial or whatever, like, feel out your character, but then you have, a visual glossary. And that's what the old tutorial will become. Like, what is a safe jump? And then you have this video, and then you have a little mission to do a safe jump because your character has it. Or, like, fucking roll, block, tech throws.
Right.
And rather than making that tutorial, you just put that in the glossary so that it's understood as, like, this is the throw chapter. If you want to check your, check your resources on this, but it's not a tutorial.
Right.
It's you're doing research.
I mean,
there's a difference.
Because let's think about this, right? Let's think about this. I mean, like I said, this was something that I used to be like, I'm not telling them because it's a great idea. And these days, whatever, fuck it, I don't care. But like, I want like a side-scrolling, like obstacle course for fighting games, right?
Fighting herds.
Yes, exactly like Fighting Herds, which is why I loved what a lot of Fighting Herds was doing. But can you imagine if at one point in time, you're just playing the game where you're running along and there's little cannons on the ground. They shoot little cannonballs like a bullet bill at you, but you can't block standing. So you learn to low block it, right? You should learn to block it. And then there's cannons that aim up and they shoot the cannons like this and you can't low block them. So you learn to high block them. Now all of a sudden your goal is to break some targets and the cannons are shooting targets at you that come at you from the sky. Now you're thinking about... You first block them, and now you're seeing that they're targets, and now you want to hit them out of the air. Like, I literally want a wall that dies by damage, right? So you need to do this much damage to this wall, but you don't know if it's vulnerable or not. It flickers between invincible and not invincible. So you're going to walk up and go, jab, jab, you hit it, DP. Guess what? You're learning hit confirming all of a sudden. Because you're going to walk up and go, jab, jab. Oh, it's invincible. Stop. Walk up, jab, jab. You hit it, DP.
Well, and then instead of being invincible, maybe it takes like a defensive stance so it pushes you away if you're wrong.
Or something like that. But you're getting what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And so I have some walls that die by hits, have some walls that die by damage, etc., etc. And you just give someone an obstacle course. Make it so that you have to jump over a wall, but there's a target behind the wall. And so normally you could just jump over, turn around, and try to hit it, or you could learn to use your cross-up attack in the air. And all of a sudden you hit faster. You can break the target faster and do things with less time, etc., etc.
And actually, like, I was thinking it would be like a Nests room or something, like you're running around as Kula trying to deal with this shit, but Making it a Metal Slug obstacle course would be kind of fucking sour.
Dude, like a military training.
Yeah, because then you can have like the random zombies and shit, and you're like, oh, kick them out of the way.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I think. So it's so funny because the Street Fighter 2 training bonus rounds were actually surprisingly really good at this stuff. You know, when you bounced the barrel and it didn't break, you had to adapt. And so sometimes you would learn to jab and cancel it.
Yeah, the barrel was good. The car was just fun.
No, the car is actually by far more excellent than anybody gives it credit for because it takes only 4 hits to kill it on one side. So if you are used to the one-player side, it forced you to jump to the other side.
Okay, I'll give you on that.
And then it had the high part and the low part, and a lot of the moves wouldn't destroy the top of the car, wouldn't hit it anymore, so you had to learn to crouch and attack. The car, strangely enough, had a lot more fundamental teaching than we would have imagined. I always wondered as a kid, why does it only take 4 hits to break on one side, and then you have to jump to the other side? It's because they're forcing you to
because they don't want you to
around.
stand still and mash.
Right, and they wanted to force you to learn how to do stuff in the opposite direction. You know what I mean? And there's just a lot of really cool things like that, and it's interesting, and I feel like...
It's like Mega Man opening stage. Mega Man X.
Exactly. Every character needs a customized Mega Man X opening stage to help you learn the character. Now, the problem is...
Dude, yeah, okay, so Mortal Kombat was ass. It just taught you how to mash faster.
Yeah, the biggest problem, honestly, with that is that it's going to cost a fuck ton of money to make a tutorial for every character.
Yeah, especially because you're going to be modifying some of your game engine to support it, too. Because the thing is, like... Let's go back to Guilty Gear Iska.
Oh, God.
Guilty Gear Iska is a great engine to do this sort of thing because it's already like actually an open side scroller and you have the turnaround button. Because if you ever play a normal fighting game where you have to jump over something and turn around, instantly it sucks. Instantly. So maybe do something about like, you know, like, oh, this is one you can jump over. Camera locks. Now you're in, like, that's the center and then you have to, anything other than that shit just sucks. Oh, don't worry. I'm going to talk about it.
Yeah, Chrissy Rocks, don't worry. We'll have a whole... Yeah.
I just want to say I am so proud of the community. I got tagged no less than 10 times. I haven't even actually counted, but I know there's at least 10 times I've been tagged in that mod. I'm so
funny,
happy.
Dude. It's so funny. Muscles for Mary, dude.
So I'm definitely going to talk about that like on its own topic in a moment.
But that's my opinion on tutorials. And again, this is totally off the topic here, but this is just kind of how...
But I don't think it is off topic. Because it's worth noting also that, you know, KOF 13 is the home of clickbait for these missions are so hard.
Right, yeah.
And then KOF 14's missions were laughable. And 15's missions...
I did the mission in 14.
And 15's missions are not much better.
Right.
They are... I mean, here's the thing, is that they're, for the most part, they're at least practical, which is better than, you know, the Street Fighter 4 challenges, where, bitch, nobody's going to do most of those, ever.
Exactly. I was so mad about it.
There is one stupid challenge in Street Fighter 4 that I still like because it's stupid, because it teaches you something.
Which one? Was it the Run Stop Fierce one?
Nope. It was, I think it was, like, Makoto's final one, where she had to, like, do a focus crumple into, like, dash punch cancel into supers, or into ultra. But if you dashed up on them, the hitbox actually shifted and you were not at range. You had to walk up, and then the combo worked fine. And that taught me, because I was like, oh, if I walk up, because my dash actually has a different collision box than my standing or walking.
Dude, Street Fighter 4 was full of... Sakura was the worst at it. Oh, God, I hated that.
But, yeah, 15's trials are not challenging to people who like some of the hard stuff. Players new to KOF, yeah, they're gonna struggle because, I mean, they're gonna find a lot of things difficult.
Yeah, one of the craziest things about it, too, is that there's just a lot of things that are in the game that are, like, that there's shortcuts in the game that don't make sense, too. So, for example, I remember when I was trying to do Terry, rising tackle into power geyser. And I was like, shit, I gotta do DP, quarter circle,
down,
backward.
down, forward.
Yeah, and I was like, this is crazy. And then someone in my chat was just like, just do DP, half circle forward. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. The down to back doesn't exist anywhere in this.
Yeah, but you can skip corners a lot of time.
And it just worked.
Uh-huh.
And it just worked. And that's the thing, is a lot of this game has weird shortcuts like that will make things
like
a little bit easier.
Loose interpreting.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Well, I mean, because also, don't forget, like, I know this probably isn't relevant to the conversation, but even so, have you ever seen Fatal Fury 1's command inputs?
Yeah.
There's some dumb shit in those inputs. So you have to start making the interpreter looser and looser, and then they make the commands looser, but keep the same interpreter.
Right.
It's still better than KOF 94.
No,
94's inputs are dumb.
Rugal, that's not actually just literally do DP, half circle forward.
Yeah, so it's forward, down, forward, forward, back to down to forward.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm literally doing DP, half circle forward, and it just comes out. Because I guess the first down, the down in the DP counts as the first down,
and then you
hit the
down.
back,
yep.
and then you just go to back, and it just all works. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the reasons why I couldn't play 13 Savior Gabriel was because I couldn't do neutral standing heavy punch into DP, because I would throw them. Because 13 and every KOF before that had the problem that if I hit heavy punch and then forward, it would correct itself into a throw.
Which reminds me, don't play Ash. Because Ash has a bug right now where he can throw while running.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
But I mean, they're still better, and I do feel like this is probably one of the better overall input interpreters they've had in a while.
Oh yeah,
like,
free.
Free. I mean, because like I don't even have a problem with a lot of things, just in general.
Well, especially on the PC outro, Gabriel. I was talking to Arturo about that. Arturo was like, yeah, the PC has like 1.4 frames of delay. He was like,
it's pretty buttery.
He was
smooth.
like, there's no fighting game that's ever done that. He's like, I don't know what they did.
I mean, there might be something that I wonder. So, a lot of fighting games are definitely optimized for the primary console SKU. Most of the time, that's the console SKU that's going to be the PS4 one.
Right.
I wonder if KOF was actually optimized for PC because that was because they've been working on Unreal.
Right.
It's only their second Unreal game.
Could be.
So it might actually have been PC main SKU, and then it's ported to PS4.
Could be.
Which, from a development standpoint, the way Unreal works, that actually kind of makes sense. And so that would explain. And so everything else is just whatever the native issue is with Unreal. Oh, Oda said PS4 was main SKU? Huh.
Interesting. Okay.
Well, so here's the thing.
By the way,
here's the thing, real quick. Saying that was the main target is more saying making sure it runs well on PS4.
Right.
But it could have been developed more smoothly on PC with the goal of making the port to PS4 perfect.
Right. Now, someone did say with the matchmaking that you had to change, like I saw Giuna retweet about it, that he was trying to matchmake to Japan players, but because he had his console in English, they used your language as opposed to your region to determine who they matched you with.
Yeah. Which is apparently it's a Windows thing. Even it's actually a Windows setting, if I recall correctly. Okay, it's been mentioned 3 times. I'm just gonna go ahead and cover it. Yeah, there was an interview recently with Oda who said that, or they were like, "Hey, you gonna keep doing stuff with Unreal? You know, you're doing all right." And it's like, we're working on a game right now using Unreal. We'll see how things go. Wait, what? I've already got a new project going? Okay. That's all we know. But it's still like, just outright said, yeah, we got a new game in the works.
Cool.
You don't know shit, but it's a game, and it's in Unreal. Sweet!
I mean, it would be kind of sick if they made kind of like a crazy new Metal Slug, but what are you looking at me like that?
Okay, look, I'm not against Metal Slug by any means, but I've got Metal Slug Tactics coming, so I don't need a mainline Metal Slug right now.
Yeah.
We just had Sam's show, so I don't
Neo
know.
Turf Masters, dude. Let's
You know,
go.
funny you should say that.
And you know what? You kind of look like the guy on the game. Yeah, there you go. You kind of have that look, dude. You kind of have the look.
So that's an original Neo Turf Masters marquee. I just got set up for it. Perfect.
What's the best pre-made team in 15? Asks Converse.
In terms of canon?
No, he just. I think he just wants to play as a team.
Okay, honestly, they're all really good. I have some of my personal preferences. It also depends on what archetypes you're looking for. But if I'm going to recommend one just strictly on out-the-gate power, probably just go with either Ikari or Ash team.
Ooh, interesting. Because I also think that Fatal Fury team is a good one because Terry is buff, Joe is good.
Terry's buff, Joe's a fucking monster.
And I think Andy is kind of underrated right now because I was testing some stuff with him and I was like, oh, we'll turn on the game later. I'll show you what I mean about his jump CD.
Yeah, no, Agent's really good. I'm actually debating playing Agent in its entirety.
Yeah. And then, of course, I do think that Sacred Treasures team is kind of nice just because if you want a team where everybody has a DP.
But honestly, I would say, like, out the gate, the first thing I would do is touch Ikari. Because you have two really strong, not difficult characters out the gate. Because Ralph and Clark are both crazy strong, and they're not difficult to play.
Yeah, Leona's kind of weird because her game plan is not obvious. Like, when I play her, I'm like, she's got all
Team Ash is busted.
I don't know how to blend all of Leona's tools, but after playing against David for a while, he was like, Leona's really annoying because, it's just, again, being able to change her jump arc is just really powerful. So
yeah, no, Team Ash, I think actually overall might be one of, if not the strongest canon team. Just here's my thing: if Elizabeth is the worst member of the team, holy shit!
Is Kukri that good right now?
I think Kukri is a problem.
Okay. Cronin and Angel. That's Team Cronin. That's just Team Cronin. Yeah.
But you can also refer to it as Team Nests if you are so inclined.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's Team Cronin.
Yeah, no, Terry is definitely scary. He robs games, basically. You know, just, I hit you, you're dead. Yeah, it's scary. That is true. Ash might be the quote worst due to execution barriers.
Yeah, no, he's going to be the most difficult of the three to play.
Right.
But Ash is a walking pile of one-touch kill. So
World End is getting bodied by
no. The Hyder and Isla is Rivals team. Secret Agent is Vanessa, Mary, Luong.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, Ramon's. I mean, again, Ramon, you're saying is not great, but he's at worst AB.
Yeah. So he's not bad. He might be the worst character in the game, but that still leaves him at like B tier. Like classic Ramon players are still gonna fuck you up because they know how to scare you into blocking and getting grabbed.
Yeah. So Mighty Max, I'll tell you a couple things of Leona against Zoner. She can run under some fireballs, right? And
she can run under some.
Having
V Slasher is godlike.
The air, diving attack is very useful, and then 1-6-6B, the little hoppy kick, is kind of a dumb button.
It's pretty good.
But also, if you can learn to do it, it's a little bit tougher, but learn to do the Kara of 2A into 6B. So you'll see the kick will be way faster. And so I'll do that in neutral because it's just a lot faster than the regular one. So it's actually really cool.
Dude, I'm still so glad they took away Yashiro's CD.
How did they take it away?
Do you not remember how dumb it was? It was full-blown chariot.
No, I'm just saying, how did they take it away?
It doesn't travel as far.
Okay. The EX0 frame bug? Which one was that one?
There was some jankin startup with something. I don't remember exactly what it was.
Okay. But yeah, no, I mean, the game... no, that's still there. Yeah. Investigate, that's still there.
The canceled Plink EX move is getting screwed up.
If you Plink it, you will miss it a lot of the times. And that messes me up a lot, actually. I drop so many things in this game because of that.
There's a lot of other interesting system things to talk about, like... We can get to it if we touch the game, whatever. Because I have a few frustrations with some of their design decisions in the game that seem to kind of come out of nowhere. But it is what it is.
Yeah, Outro Gabriel, a lot of people are doing that. He's using the macro for EXs. So I have a problem in Street Fighter 5 and every other game that every time I do EXs, I just hit 3 buttons. Because in the arcade, even if it was 2 buttons to do it, they made it 2 buttons because that way if you hit 3 buttons, the chances of you hitting 2 of them on the same frame were really good, high. Yeah. And so I've always been used to that. So
and Marvel did the same thing with the supers.
Right, and so I could never EX uppercut with Akuma.
Because you teleport.
I teleported 100% of the time.
That's why I stopped playing Seth. Exactly that reason.
Yep. No, actually, I found out with my friend who I used to play Guilty Gear with all the time, the reason why Seth's teleport is really bad is because you can't negative edge it. It was a bug. Like, that was one of the only things that could negative. So if you negative edged it, it would always come out as the DP instead or whatever it was. So, but again, putting the 2 punches and 2 kicks for the macros makes it easier. I'm wondering if I could train myself to just get used to hitting all 3 buttons again to do my EXs. So that way I don't have to, because my biggest problem right now, it's a 4-game button. So whenever I have to go to the macro, it's like when you're playing Guitar Hero and you got to shift your hand up and down.
Yeah.
I get messed up that way.
Yeah. So. And honestly, like, I'm just forcing myself to get used to it because Vanessa, your fingers dance damn near as much as, like, top level zeros in Marvel. You are hitting every button like you're trying to fucking play Guitar Hero. Right, you are everywhere.
It's twisting with your fingers, dude.
And so trying to incorporate the 2 punch and 2 kick actually fried my brain. And so I just like, nope, not doing it.
So new players getting destroyed by KOF vets with 1 button. I mean, the thing about it is, honestly, it happens in every fighting game. It just happens in every fighting game.
Can you imagine coming to Street Fighter for the first time and then you fight, like, you know, any player we've mentioned in the past hour, and do you remember the Excellent Adventures? They literally had Justin on, had to play Honda, and press 1 button.
Yep.
And they were in ranked.
Yeah,
that shit happens. That shit was happening 10 plus years ago.
Yeah,
it's gonna happen now.
That's the thing, right? I mean, sometimes, like, I still remember, I forgot if it was somebody that I was playing against or I was watching something, but it was really interesting because I don't think it was me, because I distinctly remember it was someone who was good playing ranked against someone who wasn't as good, and they were like trying to teach the guy. Like, they did one move over and over again that you could, like, crouch under. So he would, like, crouch and be like, this is what you can do, you know, kind of thing. Or you can be a troll, like the guy who plays on my Soul Calibur stream, Manta, and kills you with 2 moves because he thinks it's fun.
Yeah.
Jerk. No, I love Manta. He totally. Oh, it might have been. Yeah, Eris was watching that. I think it was, or either that was Eris was trying to teach them, or something like that. So.
No, and I mean, like, so I played a few matches of ranked for the first time last night on my potato fucking machine.
Dang. Okay.
And I OCV'd every match I had with Dolores. And I'm not even that good. Like, Dolores is fucking dumb. She mad dumb. But, like, it happens. If you're less comfortable with the game, you're going to have a harder time.
Yeah, hold buffer is very, very useful.
Hold buffer is so fucking
Now, hold buffer is interesting because the hold buffer is a small window. I think someone said it's like 10 frames.
It's about, last I checked, it was 13. I think it was 13. I haven't cross-verified it to be sure in KOFXV, but I think it's about 13 frames.
However, I will say that for advanced cancels, it's a lot longer than that. Because there are some that I hit them stupid early.
So I disagree. I think some of them, the cancel window is just that fucking big and it just gets it.
Right,
because there's times where I did like the Mary Climax cancel. I didn't even hold it, it still counted. It just waits like a half a second before it does the super flash.
Right, there's just this giant window where they're like, if you hit it any time during your it counts.
Cronin's really good. He's really quite good. They did fix some of his problems. They did nerf some of his dumb shit from a long time ago. But he is good as fuck.
Reynold is freaking
also,
ridiculous.
Dude, Cronin's 3D is super good.
Which one's that one again?
Slide.
Oh, the Slide.
Yeah,
okay,
2C and 3D are both super fucking good.
Yeah. So yeah, no, definitely know about you. Do please use the hold buffer thing. That is so important.
It's life.
It is so.
The only thing is you have to bear in mind that it only applies to motions.
Yes.
It does not apply to buttons. It does not apply to
Does it not apply to buttons?
It does not apply to raw buttons.
Really?
At least not in the same window. It might apply like 2 or 3 frames early, but not the full 13.
Okay.
It does not apply to max mode. It does not apply to one button follow-ups. So like if you have Vanessa and you do down forward kick forward punch and try to hold it, that punch is not coming.
Okay. Interesting. Because I know, like, for example, Clark has the EX uppercut into the command gun.
Oh yeah, you can hold that.
Definitely hold that button. So yeah. Oh, they made 3D cancelable now? Is that what it... Okay.
Yeah, no, because that's the thing. I feel like Cronin sucks shit in the beta.
Right.
Because they were so scared of letting him be godlike again.
Right.
And I think they just took the kid gloves off and were like, you know what, fuck it. Yeah. Worst case scenario, we nerf him later.
That's true. Does it apply to wake-up reversals, the button
Absolutely does.
Okay, so I'm going to have to remember that.
I'm
also, still used to pianoing too much.
Also, for your lab monster needs... this also applies to training mode recording reversal. So if you have when you do record a reversal in training mode, it gives you a 3-second countdown. Fucking put that thing in at like the half-second mark and just hold the button, and you'll get the frame 1 reversal on recording. So now when you hit playback, all the reversals are going to be frame 1.
Okay.
Which is how you really test safe jumps.
Nice. Okay. Cool.
So yeah, it applies even there. So yeah, it's kind of the best.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sad because, like I said, I haven't had a chance to play it. I mean, I did have a chance yesterday, the day before, but Capcom Cup just absolutely destroyed me, basically.
That's because Angel's neutral sucks. I want to play her, and I can't because her neutral sucks.
Really?
Dude, I was doing like jump B and getting stuffed at point blank with jump C's and shit. Gotcha. All of her buttons are just really struggle bus.
Oh, what's up, Novel Tataki? What's going on, dude? What's going on?
Angel is super like struggle bus in neutral, but the moment she touches you, she's the best Vortex character in the game.
Yeah.
And they still nerfed her on top of that. She got nerfed really hard. Yeah. The more I'm seeing.
Okay.
But whatever. Let's shift gears a few times here because we got a couple of topics to talk about. And if we want to press buttons, we can press buttons.
Sure.
So since this has already been spoiled, this. Here, you know what? You can hold it. Hold this one. And then I also am really a big fan of this. And more. So myself and Kitty actually dropped by Arcade Shock the other day. Because we've been talking to the owner of Arcade Shock.
What is Arcade Shock?
Arcade Shock is your specialty store for purchasing arcade parts such as buttons, sticks, and even bags for your arcade sticks. But they've also been in business for a long-ass time. And they have a bunch of really cool old stuff, including like old marquees from arcade cabinets that no one else had any use for. So if you're like me and you're a big old nerd and want to collect shit, I've been grabbing up some of the like SNK marquees. They even had like a magical drop marquee, all sorts of cool shit. So go ahead and head over to Arcade Shock and check them out because some of this stuff's really cool. I definitely picked up the Neo Turf Masters one for the memes. I got the 03 marquee I was really happy about.
I know.
Got a Rage of the Dragons marquee.
I know I have an Arcade Shock tin because every Christmas Vin sends me cookies.
That sounds right.
He sends me cookies every single Christmas, and it's adorable. And I love them, but I can't find my Arcade Shock tins right now.
But anyway,
because I definitely don't throw them away.
Vin over Arcade Shock, good dude. Been talking to him a lot, especially
lots
more
of buttons, controllers, parts, things like that. So yeah, you came back with the mother load this last time.
And I came back with a lot of marquees. Kitty bought a lot of marquees. We got a couple of posters and a couple of reproduction posters.
Nice.
Which is also recently I found out. I didn't even know this, but the old SNKCapcom.com like fan site.
Yeah.
Was him, and I didn't know that.
That's crazy, dude.
And so he's been in the community forever. Like he was sharing actually old stories from when SNK was in Torrance. Like knew some of the guys over there and stuff, which is going to be a whole other topic for another day. Mm-hmm. But It's really cool. So we just like sat there and just chatted for hours, and then shopped and spent a lot of money on picking up a bunch of old marquees for the collection, so that eventually I can hang them on the walls and mount them. It'll be awesome.
There was one time before when I was streaming, I used to give away a bunch of stuff, and Vin actually gave me a whole box full of stuff to give away. Sad thing about it is I still have that box. I haven't given away most of the stuff because I'll tell you this right now, it's expensive to give.
Oh, shipping? Yeah. Dude, shipping sucks.
So there was one time I went to ship like 6 or 7 things to people, and it cost me like almost $200 to send all that stuff. I was
trust me, that's something else I've been making more aware of, because on a shift of subject, I have a huge thank you to give to Doc Fugu.
Fugu Tabetai.
That's the one. Because he was kind enough. By the way, he lives in Japan, for those that need context.
Yeah, if you guys remember, when I did the Kimono Michi restream, he was the guy who was jumping on to help me do the translations of the interviews. He was the one jumping on the Discord calls and stuff. He's also the guy who literally, when those Street Fighter V tarot cards first came out, the tarot cards, he bought a box, and then when he met up with me at Hey Arcade and gave them to me, because he was like, I'd rather have someone to give this a better home than me.
Yeah.
And so
it's like, for me, they're just going to sit on a shelf and whatever. You're going to like them.
Right. So he gave them to... So he's the homie. He's definitely the
nicest
homie.
fucking guy. And so he went over to the KOF pop-up shop for me.
That's so cool. And thank you, Digital Arkham. I actually really appreciate that. Seriously, thank you. Oh, man.
So yeah, Fugu went to the KOF pop-up shop for me, and so I got, a bunch of the acrylics and a little this, that, and the other, and of course, when it all arrives, I'm going to be revealing it on the show, because everyone needs to see the cool shit, including some surprises that I don't know, because I actually did get one of the invitation envelopes, and he refused to open it. Because I was going to be like, you want to open it so I know what I got, so I know if I have to, go jump around online to hunt something down. He's like, no. This is for you. This is your surprise.
That's awesome.
No.
Watch you open it to another Mary.
You're gonna catch me.
Yeah, I know. You'll be like, yes.
But because of that, also, so one of the items, we also got the wall scroll of all the waifus.
Oh.
And he's like, he had to spend a week looking for a good tube so that he could get it to ship, and then put it with the package to get that send over, and... And dude, so shipping is costly.
You know what they should have the ability for him to just travel to the Zen Market building and be like, one of your customers already has a box. Can you just stick all this stuff in there for a cost?
So Kenji, we have no idea if/when these are going to be on the SNK online shop. And more to a point, I don't know how long it's even going to last. Because, you saw it. Did you see during the past 2 weeks, the Iori acrylic stand sold out 3 or 4 individual times?
Jesus Christ.
And they had to restock it every time. So when they get to the SNK online shop, who knows if it's just going to be whatever's left over and then that's it?
Right.
We don't know anything.
Right.
So it's going to be a process, but I just can't wait for it to arrive, and then I can show everybody and all the cool shit, and then my giant Mary statue is supposed to be shipping in the next week. So
hey, speaking of waiting for things to arrive, we can go to another topic.
Perfect segue. So someone in the chat already asked.
Yes.
Did I get my PS4 Omega Edition? No. It still has not arrived. And, okay, look, I'm fucking pissed. I'm just gonna outright say it. We can talk about this in a nice little thing of, it appears the game outsold their expectations. They really didn't think that many Americans were really gonna want to purchase a collector's physical edition of an obscure fighting game. On the other hand, what the fuck? I'm actually pissed. If I wasn't fortunate enough to get, the PC version, I would still be sitting here waiting for my PS4 copy and being like one of the guys not able to play. And like people are saying in the chat, I'm not the only one. Like, if, literally, if you got the PS4 Omega Edition, and especially if you bought it in store, there's a good chance you still don't have your fucking copy.
Right, because you reserved it at a physical store, and they just have not gotten it.
They were kind enough to call me on the 17th to say, hey, we didn't get it, I'm sorry. We will let you know.
Okay.
But I still call the store every so often to see if there's been any update. Nobody knows shit.
Obviously, clearly, it's not GameStop's fault.
It's not that GameStop's fault. I have no idea whose fault it is, if it's Koch Media distribution, or if GameStop is prioritizing online orders or whatever. But one way or another, like, I do not have a physical game that I pre-ordered in a physical store.
Now, here's the question, Seiru. Which version did you get? Because there was also the other issue with the Omega Edition.
Where we got fucking lied to.
Yeah, so the picture, obviously, from the European version has a nice, beautiful jewel case for the CD collection, and everybody in Europe got a beautiful jewel case for the CD collection. But everyone
online.
But everybody who got the American version, the CD came
the North American version, because the Canada version I believe has the same thing.
That one comes in a paper sleeve that you just get hundreds of, and stuff. So
and that's on top of the fact that I still need to get my Japanese version, because the advertising for the Omega Edition shows the picture in a frame and it tells you frame not included. Alright, fine. But I've seen some of the photos of the Omega Editions, and it doesn't look like it's even the same size picture. And I'm going to call that one misleading.
Right, yeah.
But the American version literally did not get a jewel case. We got a paper sleeve, but they didn't change the advertising at all. And that one I call an outright lie.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because, as a person who does still have an extensive CD collection, I know I'm one of the weird ones out there, but I like putting them in the shelf.
Yeah, especially because it's going to have, labels and, track lists and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, for stuff I used to, I don't even know if I've ever showed you this, but I actually used to be obsessed with making my own jewel case slips and stuff like that. So
no, but I definitely feel that.
Yeah, when I burned my own Darkstalker soundtrack CD with all the music from all three games, I printed out a whole Darkstalker slip that was folded and printed out. I printed out two of them. I Elmer's glued them together so that they were two size, and I did it. It was beautiful.
Not only that,
I
also would put it into. I had a CD player that I could open the lid and it would keep spinning, and then I would drag a Sharpie like a spirograph, and so I'd have really cool spiral effects on my CD label.
Oh shit! That's way too advanced, dude. That's way too advanced. God, do I still have it here? Actually, I might even.
But yeah. So I know that they decided to release it in the States at the last fucking second.
Right. Yeah.
And so I guess they cut costs in the process. But the thing is that this isn't even the first time in the past decade they've had a fiasco like this with pre-order and collector's editions. Because man, that Dead Island fiasco was not okay.
Please tell people what the Dead Island fiasco is.
So, Dead Island Riptide, I think was the name of the game. So they unveiled their collector's edition for the game, and with a big fancy collector's edition, you get a little statuette, and you're like, oh, that's cool. And it was a mutilated woman's corpse, as if it had been assaulted by zombies, beheaded, arms ripped off, and wearing a bikini. And that was the statue that was included in the collector's edition. And, obviously there was a huge fiasco. They're like, bro, you can't fucking do that.
Right.
So then they released an apology. They're like, yeah, that was in poor taste. We probably shouldn't have done that. And then a couple weeks later it came out.
Exactly as stated.
Exactly as they apologized and changed nothing. Yep, the bikini zombie statue.
Oh, man.
And, and they apologized for it, and then they still released it, because apparently it had already gone to print or something.
Right.
Because that's what happens when you announce something weeks before it comes out. And so it's like, you have this, and then you're really like still not making the best impression on this physical release. It's obviously not the same, but it's bad decisions on collector's editions.
Right, yeah.
Like, I mean, I will definitely take a paper case over that thing, because that's just not okay. I mean, I'm not a zombie fan.
God, there's like actually an image of it, dude. I don't want to look. I don't even know if I want to see it, dude. I just don't even.
The thing is, it's not even like hyper gross, but it's super tasteless. Is really what it is. But like, I'm not a gore fan. I'm not a zombie fan, and I imagine there's some people out there who are going to be far less taken aback by it than I am. But it raised a big stink for the handful of people who deeply care about Dead Island.
Right.
And it's like, you can't just...
Were they the ones who did the Easter eggs for Marvel?
I do not believe...
That's not Koch Media, right?
No.
Okay.
But, I mean, the thing is that Koch Media is the parent company of Deep Silver, and Deep Silver is the one who published Zombies.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
But yeah, no. I don't know who the production company that made the Easter eggs for Marvel was. I can't speak to that.
That's fair.
But yeah, that was another trash fire of like basically false advertising or intentional obfuscation of facts.
Of course. Yeah.
But it's really frustrating, and it's like, I mean, I'm really glad to a degree that I bought the Japanese collector's edition, because at least I'll have one that's good and as advertised. But I'm really upset about the handling of this whole thing right now. Again, I would even probably be over it if I at least had my copy.
Right? Yeah.
And so not having it and still seeing it getting cheaped out on, like, how many layers is this going to keep going? You know,
yeah,
I'm really frustrated.
Yeah, I'm still trying to debate whether I want to grab the Pix and Love one right now. So, but I'm hoping that, I mean, Pix and Love's history is they've been pretty dang good about everything. Yeah. So it's not a problem.
Yeah,
but
I personally have not seen anything bad from Pix and Love.
Yeah.
They're one of the only ones of these like third-party side publishers like this that I've never seen anything bad from. Now, admittedly, I'm an American, they're in Europe, so there might be things I don't know, but I try to keep an eye on them because they're the ones who do the side publishing for SNK games in Europe.
Right.
I haven't seen anything negative.
Right. Oh, man.
Yeah. Speaking of ones that I have heard bad things about, that's why I wasn't necessarily naming names. Yeah. Limited Run has had a pretty rough past few years. I mean, I'm still glad I scooped up some of the games, but they've made some pretty rough decisions on releases in the past few years.
Yeah. I mean, it's a frustrating situation because it's like, I mean, Koch Media, I guess you're pronouncing it.
That's apparently what it's supposed to be. Is
Koch Media has just been having a lot of, I mean, they just have a bad history. And, you know, I mean, again, I would hope maybe in the future that SNK tries to partner with different groups, you know.
I mean, if they have that option. Who knows what the contract is.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing. We don't know about all these kind of things.
But I mean, also, like, I'm not even going to necessarily say that if Koch Media will start fixing some of this and turn it around and do better. Like, that's fine. But you gotta do better.
Right. I mean, that's the other thing, too. It's not. I doubt the people at Koch Media are sitting there going, we have shown them the CD jewel case, but we will replace them with paper sleeves.
James, you've been in the tech industry long enough to know that there is some middle manager who got a bonus for saving those fucking $10.
Yeah, exactly. Or just something crazy happened and they're like, shit, we have to... But see, now...
I mean, I would have outright taken them just saying, the Omega Edition will be delayed by 2 weeks so we can finish printing. I'll take it.
Dude, or even just you put out a note that's saying, sorry, I know the advertisement shows jewel cases, but these will be coming with paper sleeves.
Own it.
Right. Exactly.
Or do what some companies did, probably 20, 30 years ago with like, hey, I know you're upset about this, but tell you what, you write a self-addressed stamp envelope to this address, we'll send you your fucking jewel case.
Yeah.
I'll take the onus. I'll get my jewel case.
Oh, I've done that stuff before, for sure.
But the thing is that from everything I've seen, in many regards to a lot of things over the past few weeks, it's been largely radio silence. I haven't seen I'm not going to tell you it's the social media guy's job to answer this, but they are like, "Hi, KOF's out. I hope you're having a good time." I don't have my fucking game yet. What characters are you playing?
Right? Yeah. Unfortunately,
it hurts. It hurts.
That's why you gotta hug a cat to help you feel better.
Come here, Jasmine.
She's like, no.
You're too loud. But on the other hand, though, it's still been a really cool week for the game and getting to play and etc. But something that Kitty had taken notice to over the past few weeks is, I'm not saying we have perfect vision on all things, but we only actually, we saw like a lot of the content creators who had been given the review codes or given, this, that, and the other. And we personally only saw one female content creator who was given any of the stuff, like even be it the review codes or the bonuses, whatever. And that was Chaotic.
Okay.
Now Chaotic's fucking awesome. Yeah, like I'm not throwing shade there.
Right.
But also I think Chaotic has the advantage of being in Europe, which means that Koch Media is more likely to notice her. But I really feel like that's kind of like a missed opportunity.
Okay.
Because like there's a lot of people in the world that can be playing the game and who are probably playing it now. And let's be honest. Women in the fighting game community don't have their hands held. They don't have it easy.
What are you talking about? It's so easy in the FGC as a woman.
Look, if I'm going to be blunt, I am glad I'm a dude so I can go to EVO and not be concerned.
Dude, I mean, again, my ex, she was kind of in, she was going to events and to Wednesday night fights and stuff, and some of the conversations that she's had, I've always told the story. She had one of the original SE controllers for Street Fighter 4, and she removed all the buttons and the joystick and put in her own...
Put in the good parts.
In the good parts and stuff like that, right? Put her own artwork on it. She brought it to Wednesday night fights, and some dude was like, "Oh, hey, do you know how to use that thing?" And she was like, "I swapped the buttons and put the artwork myself." And the guy's like, "This is light punch. This is medium punch."
Okay, when you actually get the response and you say that shit, then you get fucked.
Right, exactly, dude. Like, I couldn't believe it, dude.
Yeah.
And, that was also the thing, too. Like, everybody, like, she would enter some of the tournaments, and everybody who would play her, they would automatically pick their second character and just start sandbagging and shit
you
like that.
You don't fucking do that.
Yeah, people were telling her how nice her legs looked and like on the socks and all this shit. Like it was just like,
if you walk out to like Target and you see that behavior, we call that game. Dude, I've seen some weird shit in LA in the past few days. I'm not gonna lie. Cringe is actually the applicable word here. That's just fucking gross.
Right.
Like you don't fucking do that. And like, Kitty's been really like trying to reach out to some of the groups, companies that are trying to hit up Koch Media, and we're still getting more radio silence. Like, I'm not saying we expect to just be given handouts to, do this, that, and the other.
Right.
But we're getting like multiple layers of radio silence when you have so many opportunities to do better by so many levels of the community. And like, how are you going to miss North America when that's where Mexico is located? For KOF.
Right, yeah. It's, I mean, again, I think a lot of it also, again, business.
By the way, hi Kitty, I see you in the chat. I've seen you for a few posts here.
Yeah, one of the toughest things, honestly, is just that, again, a lot of the businesses out there that are making these decisions are not the ones that have the not bird's eye view, but the street level view of who's involved and who's there, right? I mean, that's just the thing, right? So like,
Yeah, but I mean, isn't part of like the social media team should be part of the marketing team, right? And the two of them should at least converse at all.
Yeah, but I mean, from what I've heard from most companies, whenever you're the social media person, you're literally just like the human shield, right?
And then you're sent off to the island of misfit toys.
Yeah, basically. They have so little power because, I mean, literally, you hire someone for your social media person to be the person to come up with clever tweets and whatever like that, but you're not brought into meetings. You're not asked for anything. Like, that's literally...
that varies a little bit from company to company.
For sure.
Yeah,
for
so
sure.
in Kitty's own words, because she's in the chat, and for those of you listening who might not be reading the chat, she wanted to really give codes to maybe some of the people that we've talked about who are big KOF fans, a lot of which we've showcased on the show, and
Jasmine!
Just basically show some extra support for women in the FGC or in SNK fandoms, because honestly, you can be a KOF fan and not FGC. Like, that totally works.
Right, yeah. And you know, that's a tough one right there, though, right? Obviously, because the thing about it is everything in this kind of scene is a numbers game, right?
Yeah.
And this is the part that sucks the most, right? And again, I kind of have a little bit more experience with this because I am an influencer. And
you were Illuminati for a while, allegedly.
And, like, I know how little pull that I have in anything, right? I will definitely get some benefits here and there, but that's also due to more history and tenure and stuff like that.
Even sometimes I've seen once or twice it's actually been more networking than the numbers itself. It's because I go back 20 years with this guy who is in power.
Right.
He can help me. He can throw me a bone.
Right.
You know, because 40K, whatever, 52K, however many fucking numbers you have.
Right. Yeah.
That wasn't enough to convince him, but it's like, but I know the guy.
Yeah.
All right.
That's definitely how I got this monitor.
I know a guy.
But like, it's really tough. Like, obviously, a lot of like the artists that
we will have that many copies once the Japanese ones arrive.
I mean, like, honestly, like a lot of the artists that we have highlighted here. One of the reasons we do highlight them is because they don't have that large of an audience,
and
right?
They fucking deserve to, by the way.
Right. Yeah, and that's the problem, right? It's really just about, like, if you're going to give a copy of a game to somebody, okay, artist, super fan of SNK, right? Give it to Pokimane, right? Like, doesn't know anything about SNK. It's like that's the hardest part about this whole entire thing, right? Like for example, you could probably give a copy to someone like Vampy and have her play it on her stream, and she would get more eyes on the game, right? And she's tangentially related to the fighting game community. She's cosplayed as some of the characters before, and so like that would be more beneficial to these companies, right? And that's the hard part.
But I mean, it's also like, I don't know, I feel like, at least my personal perspective, is that I would rather take someone with at least a slightly fewer numbers who is already familiar and already interested than throwing it to someone blindly.
Right.
And I've seen that happen, at least in other games. Like, motherfucker, do not send me a Fortnite code. I couldn't give two shits less.
Right. But I'll tell you this, though. I have been offered codes for games that are not fighting games. Mm-hmm. I have nothing to do with them. I usually reject it because I tell them I do not have... But see, that's the point, is that, while it might be considered kind of like not... like a waste of a code, like Kitty's saying.
This stream was not sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends.
Yes! God! But, like, this is what I mean. Like, this is not how it works, right? And here's the other crazy...
Okay, but actually, Kitty's got a point here, too. I have seen people given codes and they shit on the game. And that seems like a really weird decision. I've seen it happen.
For sure. Sometimes it's their shtick, but... And, again, no publicity is bad publicity in a lot of ways, because you got people talking about it. And then if you get people reacting negatively to it,
Street Fighter 6 logo.
yeah, exactly. Do you know how much press Street Fighter 6 is getting right now from all this stuff?
And the problem is that one I attribute completely to meme inertia, because I don't even think it was a problem.
Right, and
I was like, oh, that was an interesting reveal. And that was the end of my process.
Right,
like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And
how do people latching that hard onto that logo?
Look what Gabo says on the stream. Eris said that companies ask him to talk shit about their games. What about let's play the
Oh, Let's Game It Out?
Let's Game It Out?
Let's Game It Out never actually speaks badly about the game. He just goes out of his way to play it badly, and oftentimes he will introduce his video apologizing for how much he's going to ruin their game.
Exactly.
Totally different.
But see, this is what I mean. Sometimes having the person talk bad about the game isn't as problematic as you think it is.
Okay, there's a difference between like ripping it apart and just calling it dog shit kind of thing.
Yeah.
Fuck this game, it fucking sucks, and streaming it exactly as much as you're supposed to, and then you're just done.
Right.
That's not okay.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, but the thing is, Conan is well established as not a gamer. He's going into everything blind.
Oh god, Conan O'Brien's the best. I mean, like,
and yes, exactly. When you have the people who are fans of the less stellar human beings in the communities, and they say something, you're going to have their masses parroting that opinion.
Now,
so like you get one of these not good humans. Say they pick up KOF. Say they shit all over KOF. You have just convinced thousands of people to not play KOF.
Right. But that's if you get people talking about it, because here's the other thing too, right? Like, I'm just gonna use SNKronize as an example here.
Now, fuck those guys.
Yeah. I'm gonna use SNKronize as an example, okay? Like, let's say I'm not James Chen. I'm other dude in the fighting game community. I'm not influencer Chen.
Jimmy Chang.
I'm Jimmy Chang, right? And we're running this cool show here. We're getting, a few hundred viewers. YouTube video gets about, 1,000 views a week and everything like that. And they send us a code to convince people to play KOF. How many people on the stream right now are already convinced to buy this game because they're literally watching our show about SNK? Like, almost all of them. We will not help their numbers at all. Because we are already fans, and we're preaching to fans already. A person like Maximilian, that is the kind of person that you would target for that, right?
Of course, but I'm also, like, the thing is, though, that's the assumption that you're only giving away, like, 5 codes.
Right, yeah.
I've seen a lot of these companies give away many more codes than that, and that's what I'm going to say about, I don't know the number specifically, but I've seen it. There's a lot that can go out, and again, like, I was hoping that I would get a code, not just for myself, because, man, it would be fucking sweet to have, like, some giveaways on here.
Right.
And I'm fucking broke now. So I can't just be like, hey, guys,
buying all of
from buying shit because I'm a selfish bastard, or buying 5 copies of KOF, one of which I can't play.
Right.
I would love to be able to, like, give stuff away, and even more, like, on behalf of SNK, it'd be fucking awesome!
Yeah, I would love to give out codes on SNKronize, right? So that would be awesome.
I mean, maybe if I get my tax return, I can afford an extra copy or something, but fucking hell.
But again, like, that's just, I mean, again, like...
anyway, so case in point, though, that was what Kitty was trying to do, too, was talk to people.
I did get codes, okay? So, I mean, that's obviously why I have a copy on the PS4 that I was able to play early. So I definitely, like I said, I am influencer Chen.
James Chen got a code.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I know I talk down about myself a lot, but...
That's because you have imposter syndrome.
I have massive imposter syndrome, and I am getting to do lots of cool things, and I'm not going to try to deny that. So, but, scary tale.
Oh my god.
What?
That's going to be a whole other thing later. It's going to be one of those moments for you.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
But yeah, so James got a code. Me and Kitty did not.
Yeah.
And so we've just had to sit here and wiggle and try to.
I've heard a lot of people that were said that they were going to get codes, did not get codes again. So this, I don't know if it's
a
Koch Media thing.
I think it's a very distinct possibility because I mean, I'm not going to put words into anybody's mouth, but my assumption is that because of the change of distribution rights, SNK is not the ones handing out the codes. Because I know actually that was the case for Samurai Showdown. You know, because when Samurai Showdown launched, we got a few codes early.
Right. Yeah.
And that one was published through Athlon, so SNK actually had to get the codes from Athlon to send over to us.
Yeah.
So I think there's a very good chance that any codes that were supposed to be given out that weren't, you know, fuck me, whatever. Just in general, we're probably part and parcel to the issue of also me not having my Omega edition is they're falling behind somehow.
Yeah, and again, like there are definitely a lot of.
No, I have not talked about that yet.
But we will. But, you know, there is definitely, you know, red tape is weird, you know, and a lot of us would love to believe it's not the way it works. You know, that Harada could be like, oh, you're right. The prize money of the Tekken World Tour is too low. Let me add $1 million to it because Bandai Namco has a bunch of money. Like, we would all like to believe that kind of stuff happens, but the chain of approval...
it's literally the opposite. I've talked to enough people in enough different businesses where it's like, you're right, that isn't enough. I want to throw more money into this. And then someone who looks in, fuck no.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are. I'm not giving you more budget.
Right, yeah.
Who the fuck do you think you are?
Exactly.
That shit does not happen. Be it whatever, like higher up in marketing and budget departments of like any executive. There's always going to be one guy who's going to be like, no.
Yeah, I have seen, and again, this is just from all the various, you know, companies that I've been fortunate enough to work with and stuff. Like, they have to track every single Steam code they give away. And, like, I have been given codes before that, like, I didn't use right away, and they literally, like, this code has not been used yet. What's going on? Like, you know, like they track the hell out of this stuff.
That reminds me, a buddy of mine gave me a code for a game and I still haven't redeemed it. I feel like a dick.
I've definitely done that. It's the digital version of still in the wrapper.
Yeah. The problem is that like the code I got was for a Switch game, and I literally only boot up my Switch to play Animal Crossing.
Right, yeah.
Which I haven't done in a few weeks because KOF.
Yeah, exactly. Have to make sure they're not being resold, etc., etc. And see, like, I wasn't even thinking that, but that is an excellent point. This is the kind of level of craziness that these things go through. It's never as simple as, hey, SNK, let's just make more code. Like, oh, we haven't given them out yet? Hey, you, click the button that generates 100 codes. Thank you. You know, like... That's,
I mean, it kind of does work like that, but...
Well, to generate them, yes. But to get the ability to approve, to generate them...
Probably runs through, like, 7 different execs to be like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the code maker button. Oh, man.
Yeah, and trust me, I've seen more than my fair share of red tape in many different regards.
Yeah, and it's a tough situation. It's hard, but having said that, you know, like, obviously it would be better if the social media people were more involved with a lot of the decision making, the marketing and stuff like that, because it's crazy how, like I said, separated sometimes it feels like the social media is from the marketing. You know, it's only when it gets big, say like Arby's, like, you know, the guy whoever was in charge of Arby's marketing and just decided to make Mortal Kombat logos out of Arby's sauce and shit and make anime references. Like,
which, by the way, if I recall correctly, that was just, like, he was actually relatively, like, no-name and kind of just, you're just a fucking social media guy, do whatever. And he just got bored and fucking did it on a whim.
Exactly, because the thing is, the social media is doing this thing, all these anime references, all this stuff like this. It has nothing to do with anything that's happening in-store anywhere else. There's no relation whatsoever. And it became popular enough that it finally caught their attention. And this is...
How dare you succeed when we pay you this much?
Yeah, and now Arby's is freaking sponsoring the Capcom Cup, which
didn't
is
they, like, build a Gundam at EVO a few years ago or something? Or no, it was Nightmare.
Yeah, they built Nightmare. Yeah, and it's delicious. I mean, it was really cool that they sponsored... I definitely ate a lot of beef and cheddars that weekend. But like that's the that the whole thing though is just that's how separated they were, right? And it worked out for them in a way, but it has to be that kind of level of success. You know what I mean? And it sucks that cat zoom.
It's doing weird shit.
It sucks that it's kind of like that right now, and that the social media, that they don't have the street level view of what's going on. Again, the fighting game community doesn't exist in a lot of corporate eyes, right? I mean, it just doesn't. Capcom was one of the first companies to realize how strong the FGC was in keeping their game alive, And even then, it was still questionable.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, as we've talked about many times, the FGC is still pretty much small potatoes in terms of consumer base.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I mean, look at these games, these fighting games come out, they're like, oh man, it sold like 200,000 copies. Huge success! Meanwhile, Devil May Cry is like 2 million the opening weekend, and you're like, oh.
Right. And the fact that NRS even supports tournaments and tries to care about them is amazing, because Mortal Kombat's selling million copies with or without the FGC.
So the one thing I will say, though, is that they also do have the advantage of, I think, being more centralized by the fact that they're an American studio who's always dealing with Americans and American media.
Yeah.
That it kind of is a little more synchronous.
Yep.
While, that's why also, I mean, same point. That's why Akihabara has a KOF pop-up shop that no other country's going to see.
Right, exactly.
I do want to actually talk a little bit about that topic that's in there in a moment, too.
Okay, I'm not sure which one.
Okay.
There's a lot of things on there.
There's one thing in particular.
Okay.
I think we've beaten this topic a little bit.
Although, just want to acknowledge, yes, Crizzy Rock says FGC might be the smallest community among the big fishes, and there's a lot of truth to it.
It is the smallest big fish. I think that's probably fair.
Exactly.
I mean, the fact that I think speedrunning is actually bigger than us now, piggybacking off of yesterday's topic, speedrunning at large is probably bigger than the FGC right now.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Which is weird.
Yeah, AGDQ, and plus the other thing, too, it has a broader audience base. It just...
Wider general appeal.
More people will be interested in watching you blow up Mario 64.
Yeah, I do not like Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island. I do not like that game. I will watch a speedrun of it.
Wait, you're talking about Super Mario World Tour Yoshi's Island on the Super Nintendo?
I don't like that game. I don't enjoy it.
So I hope you've enjoyed the final episode of SNKronize.
Get the fuck out. Play Donkey Kong Country.
Super Mario World 2 is the greatest game on the SNES ever.
Okay, hard disagree. Hard disagree. But, look, even if I thought that game was any good, Super Metroid's still better. Final Fantasy VI.
No, Final Fantasy VI.
Anyways, so Kitty mentioned something, and I think this is a perfect time to remind everybody that I really, really miss KK's transparency and involvement as community manager.
Right.
And seeing it go from what we had during basically his high points to whatever he's doing now has I think we're all much worse for it.
So, yes, us, as in the FGC.
Yes.
But again, do we matter that much, right? And
look, I'm just saying that if your company is making only fighting games right now, you probably should invest more in the FGC. Like, if they put out a Metal Slug right now, all right, fine.
Right.
But the past 4 games that SNK has put out and developed themselves are fighting games.
Right.
Every other game that has been under SNK's umbrella, they didn't develop.
Right.
So I'm just saying that, maybe lean into that because, I mean, they've been leaning into it. That's why they have a presence at EVO and not like Comic-Con.
Right, of course.
Of course. But I think we were really better off with KK able to do what he was doing and where he was doing and what he was acting on. And the fact is that someone asked, what is he doing right now? I don't know. Like, he's in the credits for KOFXV,
right?
but I don't know exactly what department he falls under or what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's just one of those things, again, where I've just seen it too many times where sometimes companies, especially Japanese companies, get worried about that kind of transparency, right? One of the beautiful things about Seth Killian in Street Fighter 4 was that Seth had clout.
Yeah.
He, not only that, but if you've ever met that mofo in real life, like when he talks to you, you just kind of like listen. And like, I mean, he was a philosophy professor at one point in time,
Not
right?
surprised.
So, you know, when he talks to you about shit, you're like, okay, you know, so.
I don't know, I gave him an inordinate amount of shit, so,
I'm sure you did. But again,
I got a formal apology from him for She-Hulk and Marvel 3, so
but
hey.
at the same time though, right, there are a lot of things that I'm sure Seth hasn't been able to tell us about shit that's happened. And look at poor Combo Fiend with the functions shit, right? Like, and he's never been able to escape that. Combo Fiend is now,
but I'm still really happy with how his career turned out, and he's way happier right now.
Yeah, because he's not at Capcom.
Yeah. Considering what he's on, it's actually hilarious.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just the thing, right, though? But again, the ability for those roles to do what they want to do, that we, the public, would like, is usually what gets them in trouble.
I'm just saying, getting, like, the Kaiser Wave interview streams, talking to the staff and letting the staff address the public was fucking fire.
Right. Again, that's more of an American mentality, right? NRS did that, and they still do. They have the really awesome combat streams and stuff like that. Like, NRS is probably one of the best at doing stuff like that, which is why it's been so cool to see Matsumoto and Nakayama do their thing for the Street Fighter stuff, because that's the closest that we've gotten. Capcom, weirdly enough, as much as people want to give them shit, like, they're kind of like more progressive, well, especially now in the last 2 years.
I wonder why.
Yeah. But like
We're just going to do it every time we have an opportunity.
I don't know what you're talking about. But like, you know, they've got,
I know.
They're a lot of the Japanese companies still don't have that. And that's the problem. So
it's just weird because like SNK had it past tense and then they stopped.
Right, but again, I felt like that was probably more an SNK US thing, not like, wasn't like an SNK thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's kind of how I feel about that. So
yeah, I mean, there's still many things to piggyback off of this in the future too.
Yeah,
you know, some discussions that are in the works.
Right.
But
and again,
no, there is not an SNK in North America or US of any kind right now.
Yeah,
there hasn't been for over a decade.
Right,
and I think it was last time because remember KOF 12 was Ignition, 13 was Atlas, and then 14 was Atlas. Yeah. I think.
Because like, even for Street Fighter 5. For some of the Capcom US reps, you know, who aren't at Capcom anymore, like, I used to talk to them all the time. I was like, this is what you need to do. You need to build back, again, trust, fan confidence. You need to build that kind of stuff up. And I was like, here's how you do this. And they're just like, we know. We can't. Like, we're not allowed to do this kind of stuff, you know, and that... Again,
so Sakatashi, that definitely is an element of what happened, but it was so like night and day overnight.
Yeah, it's just
I'm still fucking mad about that.
Which
the Sam Show tweet?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
that definitely caused a huge debacle. Mm-hmm. But all right, look, I'm just gonna fucking say it. There's a lot of things that happened from that tweet. I don't know everything that happened, but yeah, there was the horny on main tweet that caused a bit of a fiasco, and then suddenly KK wasn't doing Kaiser Wave streams anymore. So 2 and 2 together, there's something related there.
Right.
But the fact that went so badly, with so many other things going on at Twitter that they just let slide everywhere else.
Right.
I mean, I love Guilty Gear. I do, But if you're going to spend a year talking about Ramlethal's feet, and that's fine, and someone makes a joke about everyone's reaction to Iroha, that seems kind of unfortunate.
Right.
And that's all I'm going to say about that, is that if KK is really, like, still suffering after that tweet, when everything else, it's just really unfortunate. I mean, I'm glad, don't get me wrong, I'm glad within reason that Guilty Gear finally toned it down, because they started being a lot more professional and making less feet jokes. But it's just, like, it seems like there was definitely some, like, targeting or hypocrisy going on.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on who decides to be loud about it at the particular moment. Right?
Yeah, which I think is unfortunate.
Yeah, but at the same time, that's the thing that you have to be careful for, right? The story about the Arby's dude, he could have did something like draw the Mortal Kombat logo with Arby's sauce, and then NRS came and sued the hell out of them, and then he would have been the villain, and he would have been fired, and you know, all this shit could have happened, right? You never know, and that's like the hardest part about the whole thing. And again, that's part of the stupidity of the social media guy not having any direct ties with the marketing department. And again, showing how disconnected everything is, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
right.
And then we get people talking about particular outlines in Ryu's costume design. I'm really glad I'm not Capcom staff right now, just because of that.
Unless they did do it on purpose, dude. Unless they did do it on purpose.
Oh, I'm washing my hands of that.
Because they're getting all of the discussion right now. So.
Oh man.
Again, I said that's what I wanted out of Urian's intro, right? Like that kind of that's the kind of shit I wanted in the first place. So. But honestly, the logo is I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that is the official logo and Capcom's redoing the whole thing now. Like, I feel like they kind of have to now. I feel like they're kind of forced to at this point.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, the thing is that if nothing else, people have pointed out, like, look at when KOF15 was revealed.
Yeah, the logo wasn't
dramatically different. And it was stylized enough that it felt like a KOF logo, but it was simple enough that you could easily just throw it away.
Right, yeah.
And they did.
Right.
And I'm going to be honest, I don't even feel like the new logo is a significant improvement. It's all KOF logos. There's like a flavor to them. And it's on brand. Whatever.
And again, not to be like super downer here, but like the whole feet fetish thing really just grosses me out because I know about Chinese history. And like,
oh god, no.
Yeah, and so like I fucking hate whatever feet fetish shit that's out there because I just don't even want to think about that or going up and down that area.
Yeah,
dude, so.
Yeah. There are definitely certain avenues of things that are way worse, and no. I don't want to talk about that right now.
Yeah, no, that is definitely. Don't look it up either unless you want to be horrified. Let's just put it that way.
Or if you're just really interested in a terrifying case study of humanity.
Yeah. Actually, no, it is a good... If you really want to know about, just look up feet binding. That's it. That's all I'm going to say. Just look that up.
And if you are not prepared to look at that because, like, full-blown, like, shock and horror warning.
Yes.
So, I don't recommend it, but... at your own risk.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why the foot fetish thing drives me up the wall.
That's a reasonable take. Yeah. Well, like we're not shaming here, but like we're not on board.
Yeah. Basically, yeah. So
meanwhile, as a person with a different type of tastes, I really want to give a shout out to Indigo Rigo. For releasing the first physique mod for Blue Mary for King of Fighters 15. And just surprised, it came out like last night, and I saw someone else like, hey, this is really nice. I'm really glad this exists. I look at it, I went, oh, fuck.
And then your Twitter account went like this.
Dude, I have gotten so many tags and notifications.
Have you seen this? Have you seen this buff made mine?
Dude, here's the thing. If that's how I'm gonna get bothered, so be it. But yeah, I've had so many people tag me like, hey, this is a thing. It exists now.
Right.
Are you good?
Yeah.
We're good, right?
The thing is, you're working on your own.
I was. I actually I'm like, okay, installing Unreal, looking at these packages, finding all this shit.
Thank you, Norval. See, I'm glad somebody else is so mad about that EX input bug. Okay, anyways, keep going.
So I've been doing different tests with the textures and stuff, working on learning how to sculpt better in Blender and doing all this shit. And I just could not get the fucking thing to work and import properly. And then just boom, this comes out, and I was like, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So I've been talking to the modder now.
You've even combined your efforts, right?
A little bit, yeah. So I applied my texture changes to his model changes. I've been talking to him, we're figuring it out, and yeah, and he's a super nice guy, and just he did good work. And the greatest thing to me though is talking to him. He had no idea that there's that he's alone or that he wasn't alone in the idea.
Right.
That he just literally made it. He's she's like a hybrid grappler. Why is she a twig? I'm fixing this. This is weird. And so I hit him up. I was like, dude, let me introduce myself. And I just linked my Twitter. He goes, oh shit, wait, what? I was like, yeah, this is a whole thing.
Yeah.
Dozens and dozens and dozens of people are like, why is she a twig?
Right.
And so he just solved everything. And yeah, did we just become best friends?
Yeah.
And the thing is, if you check out the mod, it's pretty much there. I would like to see one or two tiny adjustments, but that is probably about where she needs to be.
I mean, you had it loaded up on your PC downstairs, and I was messing with it. It looks good, dude.
Yeah, it feels natural.
Right. I mean, I just look at it and I was like, yeah, this is how she should have been all along, and I don't know.
Yeah, because he was relatively conservative with it. She's significantly bigger, but it's not freaky.
Yeah. So, man. But yeah, she's definitely. I mean, it's funny that there is that many people who are.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't believe when I just did the little the texture change.
Yeah.
People were like, yes. I was like, oh, whoa, okay. But yeah, no, I'm a big fan. So I just wanted to give that guy a shout out and thank him for his work.
I wonder if that is a Japan thing. Maybe Japan is just not as into the buff women look.
So no, because there's actually been a movement about it. They actually have their own maid cafe right now.
Oh,
literally, it's literally an international movement. More and more, it's becoming popular. I think Instagram is probably part of it.
Well, I mean, that's just a general movement all around the world.
Yeah.
I feel like that buffer women are becoming more
and more acceptable.
Right, exactly. So, yeah, Converse, there's a, who's the guy's name?
Indigo Rigo.
Indigo Rigo?
Indigo Rodrigo.
Oh,
Indigo Rigo.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha. And, yeah, so
just posted it up on, what is it, Banana Mods, I think is the name of the website, which is just a modding website.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just you get some tools and fucking
buff women give you protein shakes while you work out? A muscle cafe? That's
literally the one I'm talking about.
That's amazing. I think I would go.
Hilarious.
I think I would go to that gym. I think I would go to the gym, not because the buff women are there, because they're handing me protein shakes, and I think that's amazing.
Dude, I used to go to Jamba Juice and get the protein add-ins and shit. It's just delicious.
It was funny because when in the morning, I think I've told the story before. At UCLA, I used to get to school before the arcade opened. We would always go to the little store, buy a Nesquik.
Yeah,
I would just sit outside and wait till it opened up and play against the computer. The other thing I used to get a lot there was these little protein shakes because I just thought they tasted good.
Some of them are pretty good.
Yeah, I used to just get these protein shakes.
One of my friends actually really got into lifting, and so he, of course, is going to be...
You can name me.
You can't lift yourself off the couch.
Yeah, I know, right? Especially when there's a cat on me. You see, little do people know, when the cat's on me, it's not that I don't want to disturb them, it's that I just literally have no strength to lift myself up.
Now I know. One of my buddies like really got into lifting in like the mid 2000s when he finally started putting in work. So when you go to the gym, there's always going to be the guy you meet who has been doing it for 10 years longer. And so we got friends with him and whatever, and eventually he's like, by the way, I fucking hate you. And he's like, what did I do? You actually have protein that tastes good now. Like, when I started lifting, it was all chalk and dog shit chocolate. Like, and now you're getting, like, cookies and cream.
That's funny. Oh, man. Yeah. But,
so there's a whole thing. By the way, is this your water?
That's yours. That's yours. You left up here. So.
Perfect. I need water.
Yeah. But yeah, Buff Mary looks cool for sure.
Yeah, and we got it out of Darlie in Sam's show. She was honestly, she's pretty jacked, especially compared to the entire rest of the cast.
And what is it? I was trying to tell Olaf about that, but there's this recent versus multiplayer game where there was like some thick chick that just came out for it, and I don't remember the name of the game at all or anything like that. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Not Breaker's Revenge.
Breaker's Revenge though.
Yeah, Darlie definitely hit a soft spot for a lot of people. So
honestly, it's pretty much only those two in terms of the game right now. Like Mary and Leona, like because Vanessa has always been a bit like thinner. She just has the longer limbs.
Right. Yeah.
Like basically, I wouldn't complain if someone made Vanessa buffer, but like she's never actually appeared that way. She more just uses like her range and like she's kind of like lanky,
right.
Like Fight Club. Like I imagine like Abe Lincoln could throw a decent punch, that kind of thing.
G exists
exactly.
as a fighting game character.
Yeah.
I mean, Necromancy Black. That is a woman.
But yeah, I wouldn't complain. Shermie just thick. Like she's gonna have like a strong back, but you're never gonna see it.
Right. Yeah.
The other thing is, if anyone, canonically speaking, Vice.
Right.
Vice should be fucking jacked because her hobbies include bodybuilding.
Right.
Like literally listed canonically.
Well, that doesn't make any sense that she's not buff then, right?
Yeah. So Vice should probably be pretty jacked. That's about it. But even though she's probably going to be more like the cut, like Bruce Lee at biggest kind of thing.
There's just I mean.
And again, Hinako would be sturdy.
Yeah, and I agree with More McGill. Street Fighter 6 definitely needs to keep the female characters a little more muscular and such as well. Thank you for Grandma Boo for the subscription.
Yeah, I mean, so when Street Fighter 5 launched, I looked at that Cammy and I was like, this is what Mary should look like.
I mean, Cammy was jacked since Super, dude.
Well, I mean, it was literally like the Street Fighter 5 model. I was like, that is like ideal. Because I also thought that Street Fighter 5 Cammy was too busty for Cammy. Was kind of weird.
I agree. She has more of the Taki boob pocket Atari, which just doesn't make any sense. But
Oh, okay. So Shermie's or advanced cancels are kind of like nonsense, and her super cancels are they're rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what is it? Yeah, have to have the quarter go back punch into the anti-air super.
That's the flip kick thing into the air throw.
Yeah, that thing is just anal retentive. Yeah, it's super strict for no fucking reason.
That one has a really weird small window.
Yeah.
Of cancelization.
Yeah, it's just really awkward.
That one
mash harder.
That one I would actually mash the buttons.
Just fucking
more.
mash.
Yeah. That's how I did that one. So. And also make sure you turn around too.
Yeah, of course.
Do the input the opposite direction.
Yeah, like if you're on player one side, you mash the anti-air to the left.
Yes. Thank you for the sub. Mash.
Yeah, and like the thing is that I'm still mixed. Senior Fro's pointing out Leona is too busty in 15. I can definitely see where that's coming from. I'm more of the opinion that I don't fucking know. because she's kept it covered up so damn long.
Right. She could have just been had a really good sports bra in there, right? So,
but I definitely can understand where that's coming from. But like we've talked about this before, even.
Right.
But
so
yeah,
how long
that's
does
a
it
fair
use the
statement.
muscle memory of short hops and not getting railroad jumps by mistake during a heated match? Because I played a little bit of CVS2, the best way to muscle memory is honestly learn to do the down technique.
Yeah, like flick it.
Yeah, so I hit up, down,
Actually,
or down, up, down.
Are you on stick or on pad? That's a different thing.
Yeah.
If you're on stick, then you can either like just flick the stick. Like I was telling, I went to the online training and tested that over the past week, and I was helping someone else out because I'm not going to like throw them under a bus or anything. I admitted that whenever I want to get hops, my hand actually leaves my stick. I actually just flick it,
Interesting.
I just brush it with my thumb and remove.
Okay.
And that's how I make it a little easier. But there's also the, like, you can do down, up, down. And because you're forcing yourself to leave up, then you can force yourself to get the tap, basically.
Right. I can imagine I think on a pad might even be the hardest controller.
It's a little awkward.
Because hitboxes and keyboards
Hitbox is the way and the light.
Yeah,
for that
they
kind
are
of
going to
thing.
basically be brain dead to do. But there are enough pad players playing KOF who have gotten good at it that it is definitely something that you can get used to. So, but again, it really depends on if you're a pad player or a joystick player, Novel. Because honestly, if you're a joystick player, the up-down works better. And where's my... I know I have a pad here somewhere. No, my PS4. Oh, because I moved them all over there. That's right. 'Cause I just wanted to see what it felt. Oh, there it is. It's up there. Grab it there.
Yeah. So doing it... The thing is, though, is like getting yourself on either side. Like, hopping forward kind of...
Right, because one of the hardest things about the pad, too, is when you're holding the pad... you have to hold forward and then tap up, which is like on a joystick. I mean, on a pad, it just always feels like it's more effort.
And it's also a matter of how you hold it, because you're kind of like me, where you're holding the D-pad like right here.
Right, yeah, on the joint.
And then some people use the tip of their thumb.
Right,
so pad is just completely different for everybody.
Right. And in fact, I almost feel like it might even be easier on the analog stick.
Yeah, but then you have to do all your other moves on the analog stick.
Exactly. So,
I could not begin to tell you.
Yeah.
Also, even so, like, just saying, like, there's no quantifiable way to say how long it's going to take to get used to. Because there's also, like, an element of muscle memory from, like, playing it for a while or not. Like, because I used to be able to be doing it super reliably, and I was great. And then I stopped playing KOF for, like, a year. And I went back, I'm like, oh god, I suck again.
Actually, here's an interesting question. Now, obviously, on this is not, you can't do this on even on the PS5 or whatever, because it's only swapping buttons for accessibility. But what if they actually programmed KOF so that you can assign like a shoulder button to up?
Like, so, how would I feel about that? Or
would people feel like that might be cheating, or do you think that would actually be kind of fair?
I mean, so I'm going to be honest. I'm going to say, yes, people would probably say that's cheating, but then other people are like, I mean, how does that affect me?
Right.
And again, like, I think the advent of us not making excuses to turn down a hitbox anymore kind of invalidates all of that.
Right. So,
like,
but,
dude, I mean,
see, Stickman, I would have both of them work. I would have up still be on the joystick and the D-pad, and then also have an extra jump button over here.
Well, I mean, think about it on stick, because then you could have a little hot button over here.
Right, that's what I mean.
Sick.
That's what I mean, right? So it'll be like Smash Brothers. You know how some people, I used to play actually with up as jump.
Yeah, because you're a psychopath.
I'm a psychopath, yeah. I used to play it that way because I just made more sense to do it that way. But there was a jump button, right? So I used both. If I short hopped, a lot of times I would use the jump button.
I will still always appreciate Brawl for giving me the option to turn up to jump off.
Yeah. See, that was funny because I didn't realize people wanted that so badly, you know. But then again, I never played the game super competitively one-on-one, right?
Yeah.
So
like that was something that always bothered me in Melee when I was playing Melee. And I think it's probably actually part of why I played Ganon, is because it was less of a factor, because his up tilt was not a juggle move.
Right. Yeah, no, Tokido had an up button under his joystick so he could do the Raging Demon cancels in Street Fighter 4. Because remember, you had to, for his Ultra, you could cancel it out of the teleport. So you do heavy punch, teleport into up 3 kicks to be able to combo
Yeah, the
that.
Rafflecopter.
Yeah, and so he had the up button on his joystick to double tap it like that. He got rid of it because he kept hitting it by accident and making himself jump.
Dude, I remember actually in that era, one of my sticks, I got one that was the faceplate was a little too bouncy. So if I was using Sanwa's and I pressed like hard kick, I would X Factor.
Yeah,
So I swapped Seimitsu's into it just so I could play on that stick again.
Yeah.
That was awful.
Yes, actually, Senor Fro, that was full schedule. But
full schedule
But
thing.
he didn't have it just so that he remapped stuff. He had one button that had up and something.
It was up forward.
It was up and left.
He had up forward and up back, I believe, was why everyone actually got up in arms.
Right, so he could hit those exactly at the same time and do Viper stuff a lot easier. Again, depending on who you talk to, is that a problem or not? Whatever, but it's just the way it is. So
the thing is that I'm more of the impression that the thing about the full schedule problem is that they decided it was a problem mid-tournament.
Yeah.
They shifted the rules to actually basically invalidate what he had already done.
Right.
Let the fucking tournament rock.
Yes.
And then fix your rules moving forward.
Right.
You don't change the rules or update them like that mid-bracket.
Yeah.
That's my problem.
Right. I mean, some people were doing that Dark Chaos. In fact, Cien, literally, if he was playing Gen or Elena, would switch his buttons. Say to Gamerby, they would open up and they would swap 2 of the cherry switches because Elena was so light punch, one frame link reliant that they would map the select button to the side so
to
that
give
they
something
could,
else to plink.
So they can plink it over there, right? So and there was really no way to prevent that. There's no rule to prevent that, so they did that.
Nothing in the rulebook says the giraffe can't play football.
Mm-hmm. Say a giraffe can't play football? Is that a reference to something?
Yeah,
okay.
Kind of an obscure one, don't worry.
Okay. Because, I mean, if you said, like, a golden retriever,
so the giraffe was making fun of the retriever.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Because I forgot. Have we discussed on the stream? Because, there's, obviously World Pup and 7th Inning Fetch and, all the different Air Bud movies that I decided to try to make some for video games. And so, like, I had Call of Duty, I think was one of them. Leash of Legends was another one. So I was trying to make the Air Bud movies for esports. Is that what we're ending the stream on?
I feel like I had another topic to talk about. I really thought I did.
Oh, man.
I think you actually might have fried my brain. Okay, I know a lot of people really want to talk about this. I haven't watched all the endings yet.
Oh, right.
I haven't. So maybe I'll just fucking load up someone else's YouTube and give them free views or something. I need to watch all the endings.
Now, all the endings, again, of course, are the 13 main endings, and then all the song unlocking endings, right?
Yes, all but 2 of those. Okay. 2 of those do not have an ending.
Oh, right. Okay. Gotcha. I haven't done anything with the DJ station yet, Mighty Max D, but that's also because I don't have as much history with the KOF soundtrack as you do.
Also, I mean, you haven't even beaten the game yet. You've sat in training mode.
Yeah, that's all I've done is training mode. So.
Oh yeah, though I definitely have already messed with the custom playlist stuff. I am absolutely in love with it, but actually, I'm going to give no real point here. Absolutely. there are some soundtracks fucking missing that I really am hurting for.
Right, yeah.
O2UM is actually a really big one that I feel like is a painful omission. And I would love to see the home version 11 complete soundtrack.
That's right, yeah. Okay,
because that would solve one of my problems, but honestly, I really just want the Bariki soundtrack. But in lieu of that, give me the home version 11 soundtrack so that I get Gaitendo's theme, and the 11 remix of Diet is fucking fire.
If they actually do a, like that whole thing about being teased about a new game, that they're working on one with another Unreal Engine, actually, I would love to see them do a Samurai Showdown Cross Last Blade game. I think that would be kind of sick. Because they'd already be halfway there with a bunch of the Samurai Showdown characters because they've got the models and stuff like that already. I think that would be kind of neat.
Maybe. No. I mean, QT Angel is not even the only O2UM song they used. Like, they used a lot of O2UM in the reveal trailers.
Well, they just tweeted it? Literally? Interesting. Samurai Showdown, the Kingdom Fighters 15, and an unnamed new title.
The Samurai Showdown game we just played,
right?
King of Fighters 15, and the next new game are all using Unreal. Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Fuck Garo 2. Let me get real about 3. No, I still want.
Like I
still want Mark of the Wolves 2 to finish my story. I want that story.
Unreal Engine Neo Turf Masters in the house, baby. Can you imagine? You could see the hair, every single hair on that dude's chin. Like every single hair. Also, by the way, I know this isn't SNK, but I know you're excited about Red Earth.
Yeah.
I've never actually played the game.
I get to legally buy Red Earth. Because buying Red Earth and owning a copy of Red Earth up until that game thing comes out is a fucking nightmare.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know why it is? Because good luck getting a CPS3 that isn't going to be used for Third Strike.
Right, exactly.
And on the off chance that you find one that's not being used for Third Strike, it's used for JoJo, so get fucked.
And I've never even really played JoJo's either, so...
Yeah, I fucking love Red Earth. I mean, it's a weird-ass game. I'm not even sure I would call it a great game, but I love it.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Okay, so the Hyper 64 is like a totally different monster and problem because the Hyper 64 is 3 fucking systems.
Right.
But it literally, if you have a CPS3, you have it for Third Strike or for JoJo's, and that's it. So if you can track down a Warzord, fucking good on you. But
was there any other games released on the CPS3?
There's JoJo's, Street Fighter, Warzord. I think it is 3 Street Fighters.
Because it's 3 Second Impact and Third Strike, right?
Yeah, and for some reason, I don't remember if one of... I feel like one of them actually isn't on CPS3.
No, they are. They're all CPS3.
Yeah, but you're right.
Yeah.
No, Marvel 2 is not CPS3.
No.
Yeah, okay, so all 3...
Dreamcast
that's Naomi.
Yeah,
so the 3 Street Fighters, 2 JoJo's.
Didn't they release... Wasn't the Alpha 3 Upper the Naomi...
I think so.
Board things?
Yeah, Red Earth. And then there's still 1 or 2 other Trash Fire games, I think, that were on CPS3 that no one cares about, but I could be wrong.
But again, that was the period of time where we weren't sure if we were going into cooler sprites or more 3D graphics, and that's why the Hyper Neo 64 is so hard to find and all that stuff.
And I mean, also, don't forget the CPS3, it took years and years to even emulate because of the dual boot system.
Oh, right. Yeah. At the time, the 3D was not pretty, so... Power Stone
is Naomi, but the original Rival Schools is on the same board as Street Fighter EX.
Yes.
But then Project Justice, I think, is actually Naomi.
Oh, interesting. I'm not sure. That's a good question. I want to look this up now.
I believe that's the case.
Project... How do I even look this up?
Arcade board. See what board it's on.
VAPS arcade board.
Oh, so it's actually still on the same
Okay.
It's on the same as the rival schools board, apparently.
Yeah.
Huh.
Which KOF characters do you think are good for beginners? I think Terry.
Yeah, okay. Well, it depends. Like, so there's two kinds of good for beginners characters, I would say. Is that there's Shotos, like Iori, Terry, whatever. The characters that are easy to pick up if you know how to play Ryu and Ken.
Right.
But otherwise, yes, I actually do think Dolores is an excellent character for you to pick up KOF. Because she has ridiculous fucking buttons and some unorthodox tools.
Yeah.
And I think she's a good way to, like, help you adjust to some of KOF's zaniness.
Yeah, but
Dolores is an excellent character.
If you're coming from a Street Fighter game, then I would say Robert. He is going to be the closest thing to a Shoto that you are going to play.
Yeah,
basically.
Robert and Terry are good calls. Iori to a lesser extent, but still is there, especially because Iori has one of everything.
Yes.
So one of them should be on your team.
Not Vanessa.
Dolores should stay on your team because of, her helping you learn a lot of the KOF tools, like you're saying, like the 2B6A conversions, has command grab, has an unorthodox projectile, has teleport, anti-air throws, all that crap.
See, I wouldn't say Rio, because I played Rio, and because his fireball doesn't go full screen, he's really weird.
Yeah, he's kind of he's more like a little tanky. He's like the Honda of Shotos.
Yeah, and yes, Zilcho, yeah, that's exactly what I said. Leona is a weird character. Like, it's not obvious. She's basically, I think the best thing about the way that I would describe Leona is literally the hit and run. Like, I feel like that she's good because when she goes away, the earrings become a problem. And if you mix between earrings and, like, you can really mess because, like, if they try to roll through the earrings, they roll into the fireball kind of thing.
So, Jar, here's the thing, is that Rio is easy to play, but I don't think he's easy to succeed with.
I couldn't win with him.
That's the thing, is that he's easy to understand, like, how to press buttons with him.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're gonna win out the gate. I think Robert's way easier to win out the gate.
Yes.
And same with Terry, and again, same with Dolores.
So Zilcho, yes, the earrings are very slow.
The EX ones aren't.
Right, the EX ones are not, but the trick of her is that once they try to get into this range where the earrings aren't as threatening, that's when 6B becomes a pain in the ass to deal with, because that thing will hit people jumping.
And her lows.
And her lows, and she has a flash kick. Right, so you just sit there and kind of wait to get them to bait themselves into doing stuff. So this is what I mean by hit and run, right? So 6B, like if they try to jump, you just smack them, you get a knockdown, right? If they're on the ground, it's an overhead, it's a knockdown, right? And then her jumping a fireball bounces her a screen away. Now, obviously, your opponent can roll through it and kill you and destroy you. But if you're at a beginner level, a lot of people aren't going to be dealing with that. And
you can also use it in your block strings.
Yes, yeah. So. And Rio's parry can be canceled into special moves or another parry. That's it. Not normals. However, if you parry like a heavy DP, you can activate max mode, and then you can actually link activate a max mode and still punish on the way down, which is then fun times.
Other than that, I would also consider one of the good, easy to play grapplers out the gate. Shermie and Clark are both really good characters to learn some KOF with.
Clark is good because, while he doesn't have the best buttons,
he has some good ass buttons.
Standing C and crouching D are amazing.
And jump A and jump K, jump D are both really good. His jump CD is quite
CD
good.
Is really good. Yeah.
And then his special moves are all really good. And he helps help you learn some of the rules of the game,
especially the grappling rules, because they're going to be very different than what you expect.
Also, I think Liz is actually pretty reasonable. Not like super easy out the gate. But yeah, basically Liz's punches are stubby, but like her far heavy kick goes forever, and it's really good for checking people. Right. And she gets cool combos.
I always just think it's funny that they gave characters armored throws. Like you're just like ha, and you're like pat pat. Like
I still can't believe they gave that to Ralph in 11, and then took it away from him, and then just gave it to Clark anyway.
Oh man, because the whole thing is like, when I first start playing KOF and I see an armored throw, like they go for the throw and I hit him, like, oh, he's about to throw me, hit him, and it's like, tick, tick, I want you to hit me, and then they grab you. I'm like, what the hell are you supposed to do with this, And so yeah, you kind of learn stuff.
Yeah. Now Ralph's Bardi is dumb.
Oh yeah.
So the thing is, I would not suggest picking up Ralph as your first character or anything right now, because there's a chance he's going to get nerfed. And I don't want you to use him as a crutch.
Yeah, and Proud Soul, what that is a problem, especially for the characters with the Hao Shokoken inputs. Because every time you try to cancel those, you end up with the supers instead, for sure, or the DPs. The best way that I've learned how to get the down forward command normals into a fireball is to either do it during the roll, like you just do down forward button and then forward plus button, or hit down forward button and then try to yoga flame it.
Yeah, basically, so if you're trying to get, even like the same applies to running. If you're running and you try to throw a fireball, you're going to DP. Mm-hmm. So instead, do run and then roll your fireball all the way to up forward punch. And the up forward actually will help eat the startup or eat the earlier inputs basically, and it forces it into a fireball.
I've tried that. It didn't work.
I use it all the time.
Okay.
I have to use it with Mary, and I use it when I try to get fireball Oki with Liz.
Yeah, like one of the hard ones too is when you want to do a 6A into fireball as well.
That's why I use it with Mary.
Right. So, because with Iori, for example, in the beta, every time I wanted to do that into EX fireball, I would come out with EXDP. Mm-hmm. So
so Mary do like stand D 6A and then Tiger Knee 2-punch to get the EX Spinfall.
Interesting. Okay. I'll try the Tiger Knee stuff.
So you try to use basically the Tiger Knee up forward to eat the forward input more or less.
Yeah. Tiger Knee one helps a lot. And then, like I said, for me, just doing a half circle, because I feel like that extends the time a little bit to, I don't know, sometimes it helps. It doesn't always help.
And you know what? That might be also because in order for you to go half circle, that means you're hitting neutral.
Also another thing too, but if you do the half circle, that is what gets you the Rio and Robert and Yuri supers though. So for them, you can't do it. So.
But yeah, I think it's honestly because you're hitting. Once you reset to neutral, that might help clear your inputs. That might be what that is. Yeah. No, honestly, at the risk of sounding like a complete asshole, playing KOF15 again has really showed me how much Capcom brain rot I have. from the Marvel games on the Street Fighter games, like how shit parts of my execution have gotten because they were so lenient, or the amount of silly shit. Like, oh my god, it really takes an SNK game to let you go, oh, Street Fighter jump-ins are really, really good.
Wait, why? Because I think jump-ins in this game are ridiculous.
I mean, in terms of how deep you have to hit to keep your combo.
Compared
to Street Fighter, where like, I'm going to press hard kick on my way up, hit you in the head, and I'm still going to get the standing combo.
They've done that since Street Fighter 4. 4 was one of the major ones. So I imagine Street Fighter 2 had it in betas, or when they were developing it, because all of the jump attacks against standing opponents always do light punch hit stun.
Yeah.
Right? And I know I have arguments with other Super Turbo or, Street Fighter 2 fans out there. You're wrong, I'm right. Because the thing about
love when you get bold like that.
Because, no, honestly, do Guile jump medium kick into crouching medium kick as a 2-hit combo. Do it. It'll never happen unless the enemy is crouching. Because if you hit them while they're crouching, suddenly the hit stun is that much longer. If you hit a character crouching with a jump attack, their hit stun is as long as the medium would be and the heavy would be. So if you do jump medium kick, crouching medium kick with Guile against a crouching opponent, anybody can do it. If they're standing, you will never land that shit.
See, now I really want to try this just because I want to see how bad it feels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, I'm not going to call you a liar. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say, oh, I can do it, but I want to see how bad this actually feels.
Yeah. Go ahead and try it, dude. You'll find out that I'm right.
Which means if I ever see Guile jump at me with medium kick, just smash throw.
Well, I mean, you can't. Well, but see, that is why also sack throws worked. Because the block stun was as long as normal. So if I did jumping fierce punch and expect you to block, I think I'm going to do jump fierce, walk up, button. But since the hit stun was as fast as a light, you would go pow, and then they would throw you. You'd be like, what the heck?
Yeah.
That's why sack throws work. It's exactly why they worked. So
I'm helping you.
Yes. Okay, one other thing, Seru, about KOF, which is a little bit trickier that I've discovered, is that landing a jump attack into a ground normal, you can usually hit the ground normal a little bit earlier than you think you can. The hit stop and freeze isn't as long. Because when I was watching Xiao Hai, he would use the Isla back kick into stand heavy punch at heights that I didn't think it would combo, and it just felt like it was twice as fast that he was doing it. So
Oh, actually, what time is it?
it's pretty late.
8:30. That's not bad. I've definitely got some random notifications and people trying to say hi.
Are they like, hey, Olaf, have you seen this? Have you seen this mod?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I'm sure I have some of those too. But,
Right. But I mean, we can call it for tonight if you want. So yeah.
I think it's about that time. I'm just trying to remember. I thought I had one more thing to discuss, but yeah, I don't know. But Koch Media, can I please have my Omega edition? That would be great. Can you set up some sort of thing to let us have the jewel cases? That would be great. The game is super fun. We're gonna have to actually start playing soon so we can show some things.
Yeah.
One of these days we'll do a little more deep dive mechanically and talk about actual character impressions other than Vanessa Good, Ralph Dumb.
So, I mean, let me ask you guys in the stream, would you guys like us to do deep dives on characters every week? Just to be like, oh, I'm interested in Vanessa. Well, here, just so happens that Olaf has been laughing. You know, like, I've been playing Andy. Let me show you Andy.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes,
okay,
yes,
all
yes.
right.
Sure, yes. Maybe. Yeah. Okay.
I have never seen such unification on opinion here. Yeah. Oh, thank you, Savior Gabriel. I mean, I have the cat grass over there. I can bring it here and just put it down. We can sit there and watch the cat grass grow. So, cover their team positions. Yeah, we will definitely do.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure.
I mean, some people are already starting to put out.
Olaf does kill. No, you won't have to worry about it. That's definitely a James character. That is definitely a James character.
I respect the play, though.
Yeah.
I really respect the play. But some people are already really starting to debate like what the slots and roles for each character are, and
which is great.
It's great that those are there. They're good for giving you like base ideas, but it's also interesting because I haven't seen a single like tier list or ranking or anything of any kind where I'm like, yeah.
Oh shoot, Chen.
Oh,
thank you, Fat Cat.
What's up, Fat Cat?
God,
thank you.
Always gifting.
There are definitely a lot of things where I'm like, yeah, this is mostly good, but I horribly disagree with this one.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I do think Vanessa is pretty close to goes anywhere, but I like her anchor, just for the record. That's also because one thing I'm going to say about the game in general, I think picking your anchor is the hardest part of picking your team.
Yeah?
I think it really is. I think it's way easier to find a character that doesn't need too much bar, or a character that needs just a little bit and it's fine. But picking a character, you're like, you know what? I want them to have all of my leftover meter.
Right.
Because they're going to use it to the greatest potential without it just being, well, I could just make it a point character and because I only want to spend one bar at a time anyway.
Right.
I don't feel like there's anyone in the game who is deliberately like, this is a go-to anchor.
Yeah, I mean, closest ones that I can think of are like Terry because people just melt when you hit them. Right?
Yeah, because you have a dumb footsie button, you quick max, people die.
Right.
Corey had been playing Antonov mid. He's looking at switching him to last, and I think that's fine. But yeah, it's like, I don't think Antonov's a dedicated mid. I think he can go, or dedicated anchor, he can go find second.
Right.
You don't play him first, sure. And even then, someone's going to prove me wrong and play Antonov on point, and he's going to be gross. That sounds right, just because of the frame delay.
Yeah, frame delay. I wouldn't be surprised, so...
Antonov likes meter. I'm not sure he needs it. The moment he has a half bar, he's a top-tier character.
Right.
Fuck his DP so much.
Savior Gabriel, I've already made a similar joke about May in Guilty Gear. It was like, she's the best anchor character. It's not even a team game, so, yeah.
That being said, though, I'm really looking forward to the DLC. Mostly because, oh my god, I think Janae is going to change a lot of how this game works.
I just want Yamazaki, dude.
You have to wait for the next team.
I know.
Yeah.
I just want
Yours is, what is that, May? That's May, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
But yeah.
Fuse Coast, I am enjoying the game a lot so far. Isla's really, really cool. Wish they didn't change the input of her lunging kick, but you know, that's I just have Johnny problems right now.
So look, Rock and Gato are probably going to be good, but they're not going to change the dynamics. Even if they're better than Janae, I think Janae is like in her existence is going to change a lot of the dynamic of the game.
Is it just because she has certain mechanics or something?
Certain interesting mechanics and mobility tools that no one else has access to, especially if they don't change her much.
Right.
Her mobility tools and her like ways of approach are so much different than anyone else. She has a flying dive kick. Like, oh fuck.
Dude, you don't even understand Mario Sonic Boss. I want that Regal Vice mature team so badly.
And I just want Adelheid.
I'll be mad if they don't make that team eventually, because this game's already doing such a good job of finally making these like, they're here together as a team. You know, I'm so happy. So
I'm still sad that there aren't more of the cool endings things.
Right.
But
patch some more in.
I would like. The thing is that like I really like what they've been doing with those custom endings, with the fact that they're voice acted.
Yeah,
those are really cute as all hell.
Right.
But honestly, if you just want to patch in a few extra ones that are still images with no voices, I'm not going to complain. I just want more shit.
Yeah. Off-from brands, 13 characters, because even on the screen itself, there's
13 empty slots.
3, and then the 1. So for sure, there's definitely going to be 13 characters.
Yeah, it's four teams and 1 solo slot is what's on the character select screen.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, before the game came out, I was convinced that was just going to be a playable boss.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not the fucking case. Which is also a shame, because I actually really like the mid-boss.
Right.
I really would like a balanced playable reverse.
I mean, if they're going to make it like a Rugal, like I would be sad, because then that means I wouldn't get the Rugal Vice Mature team that I want. But, so I hope it's not Rugal, but we'll see. We'll see.
But it's the Omega Edition, and I don't have it. But yeah, I seriously would love to see Reverse become playable. Yeah, I want Duck too, but right now my number one priority that has any chance in hell is Adelheid.
Yeah,
because course. I would also say like Duck. I would also say
still
Guy.
Only one game, 11, or was he
1.5? He's an unplayable boss in 03.
Oh, that's right.
He is only playable in one game.
Right.
11.
11, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I honestly think the biggest reason he's not doing better on like popularity polls of like what characters do you want as DLC is because apparently nobody fucking played 11.
And nobody knows who he is. Yeah. I mean,
apparently,
until 11, I had no idea there was until you were talking about it. I would have still not known Adelheid's existence if you were not my roommate. So.
Yeah. And the thing is, so he came out in 03. He was fully playable in 11 as a mid boss, unlockable, and then in 13 he's half the fucking plot, but he's not in the game.
Dude, my favorite was in CVS 1. Remember how they had the color select, right? And Jason actually made a Joker Rugal.
That's right.
It was really good. It was really neat.
You ever dance with a boss character in the pale moonlight?
Pretty much. Oh, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he was good, but they just ran out of time. I actually saw a video. I think Matt McMuscles did
What happened for 12.
Yeah, I watched that. It was actually pretty good. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. Guy Tendo is way the fuck up there, but I know he has no fucking chance.
Right.
And he'd have to be redesigned anyway, because he had a lot of moves, or he had moves that were tied into the tag system. Between both him mechanically and his leader, which is the climax, they were tied to the tag system.
Because his leader super was you couldn't tag anymore.
Nobody can tag, which is fucking awesome.
Right.
And then like, do they really want to give him his motion input Rambu back?
Dude, 29 Dopey. Look, I mean, as much as there's those people out there that want Kim,
good shit, Gabriel.
I want Kenso, dude.
Yeah, but the thing is that with Gato since 11, Mark of the Wolves had a rollback update.
Yeah.
So people have played Gato more recently.
Yeah, I didn't realize BB Tag got a rollback beta started today, I think.
I think it's today. Is it today?
Yeah,
I know it's been really recent.
Yeah, so.
Yeah. No, Adelheide's fucking awesome. He's far and away one of my favorite characters, and he's one of those characters that like, oh, unlike Heidern, I'll play you. Because I fucking love Heidern and all the Ikaris, and I'm never going to play half of them.
Right.
I don't like playing Heidern. I don't like Whip at all. I just don't care for her.
Interesting. Okay.
And I haven't liked Ralph since 11, so whatever. But Clark's fun as hell, and I love Leona, so whatever.
Yeah, all those rollbacks are not going to be on the PS consoles, because I heard one of the reasons is because they're cross-platform, and you'll like mess it up for some. You'd have to recertify it for the 3 or this other stuff, and so it'd just be annoying. So it's probably only going to be PC, because I know Central Fiction's got it already, right?
Something like that.
So,
yeah. Anyways. So now we have the really the toughest question of the night.
What do we end on?
Yes.
What song do we end on?
Actually, let's do Sand and Mud from 15.
Sand and Mud. What is Sand and Mud?
It's the rival music for Kukri and Dolores.
Ooh, hey, Saradeath. Oh,
what's up, Saradeath?
Sorry, Saradeath. I haven't been doing any Soul Calibur stuff. It's really hard. Any tips on confirming and comboing from lights?
Find what light you can spam that still chains into itself, and then once you get 2 or 3 of them, do your command normal. Yeah, it varies from character to character.
And it depends on what the input is, right? So, and also, if you can see...
Maybe we'll do Diet next week. How about that?
See if you can find a move that like for a 6A, like Iori, his 6A combos off of his 2A or his 5A. So you can do 2B, crouching light kick, standing light punch, into towards light punch, which is the claw, which has a lot more hits done, so you have more time to cancel off of that.
It really depends on what character, and depends on like how safe even the command normal is, because some characters I'll just do like 2B, 2B, 6A, and then nothing. And I'll use all of that time to confirm.
Right.
That's typically what I do for Dolores as well, because Dolores has some dumb fucking confirms. Because it's like 2B, 2B, 6A, Fireball. Did it work? Sweet. Did it not? Oh well. That's it.
Right. Yeah, off-brand brands, but you got to imagine. I mean, that seems like an easy target to get into the game, right? If the model's already there. So, other than Dolores, characters like Blue Mary.
So, Mary, you do 2B, 2A, 4B, because that works on hit. It starts with a low. It's really easy. But it's a crutch.
Right.
Because it has a bunch of DP-able gaps. So when you fight someone good, they're going to tell you to fuck off. They're either going to DP
every
you.
week, guys.
Thank you, Spinning Bird Kicks. Appreciate it.
Or even like the last hit of 4B, you can backdash and dodge out of and punish.
Dude, the crazy one that I saw was, you can also do something that puts you airborne, get hit and on the first kick, and then you air reset and punish the dude. Yeah.
So like it's pretty punishable. So eventually you're just gonna learn how to do like 2B 6A or 2C 6A, and then decide what you want to do. Light Spinfall is minus, but it's safe on block, so you can kind of use that if you need to. But otherwise, just fucking spam 2B and hope for the best.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of it, and always remember, the one thing that I teach everybody about buffering into moves is that, you know, if you imagine the buffer as like some sort of magical timing, it's always going to be hard. Remember that for the most part, obey the rule that if your character hits the opponent and starts animating again, you can't cancel the move. That's generally the truth for most games. Now, obviously, something like Strive, they've changed it completely. That it's like Marvel, you can cancel anything.
Yeah, whatever.
After. So, but in games like this in Street Fighter, you can only cancel the move as long as it's still in the hit stop on your active frame. So, in other words, then what you do then is when the move hits the opponent in game, you will hear sound effect. That is the timing you should be hitting the button for your special move.
The button, which means if it's a fireball, you do down to forward.
Right, exactly. And that's one of the key things that has trained me to be able to do when I was playing Alpha, first learning how to cancel a normal into a super. A lot of times you do low forward and then try to input a super that would never come out because the forward would start animating by the time you finish it. So the key was just hear the sound effect of the hit, that's when you hit the button, and now you know you have to do everything with the joystick before then. Yes, it can be hard, but because you have that knowledge, you know that it's the joystick and not your timing. And so you can break it down to one small thing, you know where your problem lies, instead of now it's not the timing problem. You know you're just not doing the joystick input properly. Then make sure you have inputs on. Look at your inputs. That will save you so much time. So much time. So
also, just one last thing. This is the last thing. If you think Dolores is hard, I promise you're overthinking her. Mm-hmm. That is what I learned fighting Laban. Because we had Laban on last week. If you hadn't watched it, you might want to consider it. It's good.
YouTube.com/UltraChenTV.
But fighting Laban, I played my Dolores. He played his Dolores. He beat my motherfucking ass with about a third of the moves. If you find Dolores difficult, you are trying too hard. She has a great suite of just dumb, good things. Jump D, Stand D, 2C, 2B, all really good. Mm-hmm. Most of her moves are unnecessary gravy. Honestly, half the time, if I'm using her teleport, it's like I throw out a sweep and then do a away teleport. You're not punishing me ever again. End statement. If you're playing Yashiro, have fun. Yeah, no, Dolores is dumb. Dolores is mad dumb.
Oh, okay. That's just a bad fight kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm not terribly surprised if Dolores beats Yashiro, but I haven't had to fight Yashiro since beta, so I don't know.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right.
Song.
Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Yay. Castlevania.
Oh, this one. Yeah. Okay. This is definitely a Castlevania song.
It gets better.
This is definitely a Castlevania song, dude. I'm here for it. Alright. Cool. Stay safe, guys, out there. Make sure you vaccinate and everything like that. Stay social distance. Keep wearing your masks. Play some Neo Turf Masters. And we'll see you guys next time. Peace.